Hello, 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 hello. Happy Monday, September 18th. Welcome to the PartyChat podcast. We have a lot of awesome things that we're going to dive in and talk about today. As always, we are joined with our beautiful co-host, Chelsea Botts. We also have Tasha from Married2TheReal. We have Lloyd and Natasha from Midnight Comics. And we have Roy from YouNeek Studios. Before we get started, I'll have everybody introduce themselves. Chelsea, go ahead and show them how it's done, boo-boo.
Oh, absolutely. I'm here to get y'all started. Let me turn this up just a little bit. Hey, everybody. I'm Chelsea Bites. I am a co-host here on PartyChat podcast. I also stream on Twitch. I'm an on-camera host for Amazon, AMC, and a whole bunch of other things. Man, what a ride. And join us from the guilds. Yeah, nice to meet y'all.
Awesome. And Tasha from Married2TheReal. Who is you and what do you do?
I am Tasha, half of Married2TheReal. My partner in crime is down for the count today, but we do reaction videos on YouTube. We have a Patreon. We do gaming on YouTube and Twitch. I guess you could pretty much find us everywhere. And then I also have a self-care, self-love store. That's the name of my store, where I sell body care and items to help you heal yourself. So there you have it.
Woo, 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 woo. First of all, hold on. I want you to get big on the screen because that boba stuffy in the background.
Please,
love.
That's amazing.
Okay. My squishy.
It's so cute. And then, I put this on. This is her lavender vanilla self-care, self-love. It's a body milk lotion. I put this on while I'm in bed, lotion my hands. And it's nice and relaxing before I go to sleep. And smell the lavender. So shout out to you. And Lloyd and Natasha, who is you and what do you do?
I'm Lloyd.
And I'm Tasha.
Midnight Comics. And we are Atlanta's first and largest Black family-owned indie comic book publisher.
Yep.
Okay, then.
Awesome.
Y'all at Dragon Con?
Do you guys practice that together? Because it's the timing is good.
We don't, but it's become a thing now. So we're going to start.
I have to know, are y'all going to show up at Comic Con or have y'all been already? Dragon Con.
No, we didn't get into that one.
Dang. Okay. We got to talk to people about that because y'all should absolutely. It's finally getting a blurred community, like a solid one. So y'all got to be there.
That's true.
Okay. Help us.
I'm about it. Yes. Absolutely. Please. And please, last but not least,
Roy, who is you and what do you do?
Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Okukwe. I am the CEO and lead writer at YouNeek Studios, where we create graphic novels, comic books, animation that's based on African history, culture, and mythology. Many of you know me for my award-winning series, Iyanu, Child of Wonder. Volume 3 drops tomorrow, and I'll be talking a little bit more about that later, but it's great to be here.
That's amazing.
Awesome. And I'm excited I saw some of the graphics and we're going to have those up on the screen so everybody who's watching can see them. So I'm excited to dive in and learn more about the new story. Like you said, you have a story volume 3 is dropping tomorrow.
Yes.
So I'm excited to have you on to promote that. Before we do, I do want to say shout out to our members. Thank you guys so much for your support and for, the additional support that you've given us and being a part of the community in that way. And I also want to say shout out to Otaku Noir. If you use the code PartyChat, when you get your next blurred mystery box, you will get free shipping on us. So make sure you check out otakunoir.com and check them out on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the places. Tell them we said hi. They are a friend of the show and a great contributor to our streamathon that we had, where they provided a box for a giveaway, and so did Tasha provided some boxes of her self-care, self-love items as well.
Yes, got to take care of yourself now.
Yes,
beautiful.
Yes, we do. And then lastly, I want to let you guys know or remind you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. I will foresay that things will be changing, but I will provide more information on that at the end of the show today. So that way you guys can know what's going to be going on. And let's dive into new this week. Let's see what's going on this week. There's one thing. I'm going to just say it now. Video games. Mortal Kombat comes out tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah,
But it's already been out for everybody else. Seem like
I've been playing it. It's great.
Is it?
It's lit.
I can't wait.
That's all I got.
to. Okay.
I gotta see you play this, Christine, because you're not a gore girl. So I just know you're gonna be like cringing at some of them parts.
Called out.
That's
Man.
actually how my reaction channel started. Because when MK11 came out and I was playing and people saw my reactions to the finishers, like them things is visceral and gory. They were like, "Oh, there's a compilation. Check it out." And then reactions were born on my channel.
Violence in Mortal Kombat is dang near historical at this point.
Man.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can't wait
I
to
don't
see
think-
with this
And glory
new
in
level.
4K.
Yeah.
Right. I gotta see, and I want to play through the story. This will be the first time I'm playing through the story.
best narrative of any fighting game ever.
Really?
Truly. Across like all the Mortal Kombats, really. But yeah, like that's just what they're known for. They have some of the best narrative out there. Tekken can kind of, choke on that one. They got to get out the. They got to get off the Mishima family. I'm done with it. We
That's
done
fair.
It was like their Skywalker version.
They done thrown like 3 people in this volcano, man. I'm done with
It's
it.
tradition.
Yeah, but like, is 8 traditions now? Like, come on now. What's new this week? Right. Oh my God.
That's funny. So let's go ahead with the new this week. We got games. Obviously, we just said Mortal Kombat. Let's see what else is up there. We've got on the 18th, we have Gloomhaven that's coming out on PS4. That's coming out everywhere except PC. It doesn't say. September 19th, we have Mortal Kombat. I saw the commercial today or yesterday where they were just yelling at Mortal Kombat. Like, I'm like, that's all I'm going to do when I stream it tomorrow. So just be forewarned. Okay.
Yeah, we got opinions. Yeah.
Lies of P comes out officially on the 19th. I think a lot of people are playing the demo or early access before, but I want to see this game. I want to play this game. And it's coming out everywhere. September 20th, we have Witchfire on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Oh yes, Party Animals. Okay, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. We also have Warhaven on PC, and then September 21st we have Payday 3, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. I actually want to play this one because they added like a lot more stuff to it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm down. Payday was a lot of fun.
We talk about robbing banks so much, like might as well do it.
Might as well, A life
I
of
got
crime.
the TV shows. Let's make it happen. All right, what we got? What's new? What's fresh? All right, so September 17th, Psycho, The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein, limited MGM Plus. September 19th, Celebrity Name That Tune. I love her. I love them. Okay, I might actually watch this. I know it's season 4. I got to catch up. I love them both. I wonder if they got
Randy
the energy.
Jackson?
Yeah. And Jane Krakowski. Yeah.
I never knew her name. I always knew her as Pretty
I knew she was Jane. I didn't know her full name. All right. I can see your voice. Season 3. It's a title. I didn't know that's what that show was called.
3 seasons?
3 seasons.
Yeah, I didn't know they had one.
I
or
never
two.
heard of that. Okay.
Wow, y'all. Hi, everybody. Welcome in the chat. Yeah, we're just reading.
Yeah.
I guess
just
that's
wanna
supposed to be
know.
like The Voice.
I guess.
It's similar.
I just want to know what happened in marketing. Like, how did we get here to I can see
The
your
Gen Z
voice?
marketing.
Right.
All right, and we move on.
not sure.
Voces American Historia, the untold history of Latinos. And I really love, that's John Leguizamo, right?
Mhm.
I love that man. I actually want to support everything this man does. Season 1, PBS.
Mhm.
Y'all should
I
definitely
actually
watch
want to
it.
watch this because he did a set where he was going through like the history.
And it's also Latin History Month from September 15th through October 15th. So
Whoop.
it's like the perfect time for it to drop,
Mhm.
almost like it was planned. That's wonderful. The Supermodels limited Apple TV Plus. This is for all of you guys who have been spamming YouTube with 90s model history. They did this for you on Apple TV. That comes out September 20th. I am calling myself out. September 22nd, The Continental, From the World of John Wick, limited Peacock, and then Deadlocked, How America Shaped the Supreme Court, limited Showtime. Deadlocked, How America.
I'm interested because there are a couple of times where they, where it's like, oh, they're deadlocked, so they're going to be closed, and the government's closed for like a few days. That's happened like a few times in the past few years.
Yes, it has. They be tripping. All right.
Movies. September 18th, Past Lives, VOD Digital. September 19th, Swan Princess, Far Longer. How many of those exist? I remember that from when I was a kid. Okay,
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
know. Far Longer. I don't know. Then Forever. What? Forever is for. Okay, I'll just let it go. The Jessica.
Yeah. Don't he
What
look
is-
kind of? He look
What
kind
is the
of.
Jessica cabin?
I don't know what that is.
I-
That looks creepy.
It
The
does.
name though, like why?
I don't get it. Yeah.
I'm not
I
sure
can't.
either.
We're gonna have to talk to the producers. I know I'm watching the Swan Princess, 1000%. Because the prince's face. Look at his face.
She side-eyed him real bad.
Right? They
She
look
is
so
side-eyeing him.
unsure. They're
That's why
like-
it's called Far Longer Than Forever. She finally realized what that meant. And she's like, nah. She's like,
That's
no.
what it is. I was
That's-
wondering
yeah.
what the eye contact was happening here.
And with the little curl
Oh,
bump at
you
the
know who
end.
he looks like to me?
Oh my
Lord
goodness.
Farquaad
Yeah,
from
she
Shrek.
That's what I'm
does.
saying.
That's
Yeah.
what he looks like.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
The
Alright.
little bump at the end with the little soft rollers. Like that's all.
I wasn't
That's
gonna
all I
say
can see.
but she said it.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
They-
goodness.
they hit
Soft,
the
I see the
salon
soft
every
rollers
day
too.
for
The
that.
pink ones, the
The
foam
pink
pink
ones,
ones.
yes.
It's subliminal. Oh my lord.
Okay, The Saint of Second Chances on Netflix. We've got September 22nd, Dumb Money in theaters, Expendables 4 in theaters, Creation of the Gods. I didn't know there was a fourth one. Okay, we'll just let it go. Creation of the Gods, Kingdom of Storms Limited, The Sixth Reel Limited, It Lives Inside Limited. Oh gosh,
Okay.
that picture is creepy. Dear word. I Can Limited, Cassandro, Prime Video, 26.2 to life. It's a unique number, but okay.
Okay. All right.
No One Will Save You. Hulu. Oh, so this
Okay.
is horror. We're getting a lot of horror.
Please,
That's
have
what it
y'all
is.
seen the trailer for No One Will Save You?
No, I
No.
have not.
It looks amazing. Like I'm watching it as soon as it drops. Like
I love
But
it.
she loves horror.
I
And
do.
I love it. I'm on it then.
It's like it's supposed to be like the non-typical home invasion, but it's like aliens.
Oh.
So it's almost like somebody's breaking in a house, but it's like aliens though that's trying to like.
But
get
it's
in
like,
the
take
house.
me. What am I
but then
supposed
you
to
get
do?
teleported to a
Hello,
She was
yeah.
fighting for her life in that trailer. I was all for it.
Oh jeez.
I'd like to see how she wins over aliens. Okay.
The trailer makes it almost seem supernatural though, versus like aliens per se. So it makes it look really scary.
I love it. I love
We'll have to see.
What do you do?
If she pours water on them and they win, I'm gonna be mad. Okay.
No, she has to call the government.
Science was so good until that moment. Okay.
Well, you
Water.
know, he did admit that they were actually not aliens; they were demons.
Oh.
She needs to
He
tell
said
us she's
that?
been probed already.
Not him trying to retcon his story. He's
Why
like,
is there more
aliens don't make
scientists,
sense.
though?
They're demons. It was holy water. He was a pastor. It all works
That's
out.
what he said.
Wow.
M. Night. Goodness. All right. Spy Kids Armageddon, Netflix, Barber Limited. I'll watch this because I love that actor. Hopefully he's going to be in his native Irish accent because it kills and I love it. Dark Asset Limited. Relax. I'm from the Future Limited. Lift, VOD and digital. Condition of Return Limited and My Sailor, My Love Limited. There's a lot of movies.
But where are they going? Because
Oh,
like I don't know.
Relax.
what is this?
Like,
That Relax one sounds like a Disney Channel original movie from the early 2000s.
it's just so much stuff, but it's like, is any of it worth watching?
I got you.
Right.
Flora and
Not all of
Son Limited. Everyone dies, or everybody dies by the end.
Oh.
The origin of evil. Most of these are limited or VOD digital, uncharitable, and neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
These are some things coming
Right.
out.
At this point, we might as well just make a movie. Like at this point,
I'm scared.
Of what?
The No One Will Save You. Well, that's like a statement, okay?
You need to watch
You
the
are
trailer for that,
alone.
Christine. I
and
can
we
just
gonna
imagine
get
your
you.
expression when you watch the trailer. Like I can see it already.
Yeah, we did a movie night last week, or not last week, the week before, and we watched Hell House, and that movie gave me a nightmare for like a couple days. Okay,
I watched the Pope's Exorcist when it came out with my community.
I
Ooh.
can't. No.
But the part that got y'all know I do horror. But at the end when it was like it was based on true events, so that's when I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
don't want
was
them
based
to
on
think
like the real guy from the Vatican that was like doing exorcisms and stuff. So yeah, that was like
They
you
got a
know
little too
on
real.
Mm-mm,
I understand that.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
I just
You can't.
rebuke it and I keep on moving. Like
Yeah. I
I'll
don't want to know
rebuke by
about the
not
real
watching.
stuff either.
Okay, but now when ish gets real, that's when. No,
I didn't
okay.
know because they didn't tell you. Know normally when the movie comes on, they'll say based on true events. They didn't tell you until like the end. Like the end of the
Yeah, that's
movie was
wild.
over, and then it was like, oh, this was based on like so and so. So I was like,
Tell me something that's happened.
tell me at the end.
Oh my God.
That's messed up. That's what you
Dude,
think
was
if
like,
somebody is a creative writer, like, oh, they got that was a good writing, and then you realize that no, it's based off a real event.
Art
Nah, okay.
imitates life.
Oh
Right.
goodness, not that life though. You know, let's
Oh, that one too.
rainbow,
That one too.
sunshine. You know, I like one of them.
You know, Christine,
Rainbow
sometimes art
sunshine.
is ugly. All right. We just need to admit it. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it's kind of scary.
That's true. That's
it's
true.
art is in the eye of the beholder, like everything else, I guess. Depends
Very,
on
very
who you
true.
like.
Well, speaking of art, Roy,
Yes.
you have you said you're dropping volume 3 of it. You said it's Ianu.
Yes. Ianu, Child of Wonder.
Ianu.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell us about it. What is the story? What is well, let's just start there. What is the story of Ianu?
Okay, bear with me. I'm trying to get all that horror out of my head.
I'm
that
so sorry.
That was a lot. That was a lot
No,
for me.
I can waste time real quick. No,
no, it's okay.
I'm really excited to hear more because I'm a huge fan of God of War, and a lot of people are either thinking they're going to dive into either some sort of Egyptian or even African, sort of like just background. That'll be the setting for the next one. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of outreach to everyone who's already been studying or they put out some form of media. So I'm curious to see what your opinions are after we hear more about what we get when we pick up your book. What would you like us to take away when we pick up your book?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I can't necessarily talk about the book without introducing myself and my background. So I was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. And for me, growing up, I was a huge fan of animation, comics. But obviously, I think like many of us here, we didn't get to see ourselves. I've always known that Africa was very rich in history, culture, and mythology, and not just in just like basic history, culture, and mythology, but very, very interesting characters, settings, and things like that. So for me, it was always my dream to create a fantasy world that sort of pulled from real life, just like Tasha said, based on real events, but no horror in mind. Trust me, this is pure fantasy. But so Ianu is it's your typical high concept fantasy story, but it takes place in a place called Yoruba Land. Yoruba Land is a place that existed that still exists in Nigeria today, which is where I was born and raised. And the story follows Ianu, who is a teenage orphan girl who loses all recollection of her memory, but then at the same time realizes that she has powers that rivals the gods. And it's essentially these powers that can help her save her people from what we call the corrupt. So just imagine the corrupt as animals that have gone berserk and have one role and one mission to destroy humanity. But the crux of the story is Iyanu, who has these special abilities, is being rejected by her people because she is special. To them, magic is foreign, and because they don't understand it, they sort of rebuke it. So she has to make a choice where it's like, do I save all these idiots that are trying to kill me, or do I just keep all the power for myself? And to me, I think there's a lesson there where I've always said and I've always believed that everybody has something special inside of them, but what you have special inside of you isn't necessarily just for you or to make yourself better or to make yourself rich or famous. You have to use what is inside to always better what's on the outside, and the people and your community that are surrounding you. And most of those people may not necessarily like you or know you or care about you. So for me, that's one of the things that I feel like resonates with a lot of people when they read Ianu. It's again, it has your very typical hero's journey, but it's rooted and grounded. Even though there's a lot of magic and fantasy, it's grounded in real life and real life choices. The way I always try to attribute it is when I say something special, right? Like obviously you can't have powers like Ianu can shoot like a magic bow, she can control plant life and all these different type of things. But for us, something special could be like for you, if you're a writer, if you're a developer, if you make video games, if you're an actor, you're a musician, your craft, you never know what it's going to do to affect somebody else. How do you know if this song that you're pushing to write, or you feel like you don't have enough confidence to put out there, how do you know that's not the thing that's going to save somebody from committing suicide? Because there is a reality where people listen to songs or read books, and it stops them from doing stuff as drastic as that. So as you keep all your potential inside, just remember that it's could be harmful to somebody on the outside who is waiting for you to create, because it may either save a life or improve a life. And this is Ziano's central journey. She has these powers and she has to decide, what do I use them for? Is it just about me, or is it about my community?
I
Wow.
love that.
Wow.
Two questions sparked to mind when you bring all of that to light. I really like how specific that is with, the butterfly effect of what we all do when we all pursue our journey and we all go to grow together as people, how that can inspire others.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what was the inspiration behind creating that character? And will that character be I'm curious about all that interweaving of what you just said. I apologize for interrupting.
No. It's actually a very good question, because it goes back. It's very meta for me, right? Because I was that person who was scared to create, not only because I didn't feel like I was good enough, but I didn't see people like me doing it when I was growing up. There weren't a lot of black writers or directors or animation producers, executive producers, and you grow up thinking, well, this isn't for me. So everything that's inside of you that is begging to come out is locked in because of fear, because of the what if nobody would watch, or what if nobody would read, or what if no one is going to take me serious. And to me, I sort of like wanted to dramatize a lot of the things that I had to go through as a creator, where it's like I had to build the confidence to be able to say, it doesn't matter what you think you can or can't do. At the end of the day, it's your choice to make that decision, where it's like, no matter the circumstances, I'm going to put this thing out, and I'm just going to do my best and put it out there, for the world. And to me, again, it goes with the story of Iyanu. She has these powers, and initially, in the first couple of books, she's struggling with it. Like, she has powers that rivals the gods, but she's like, do I use this? Like, how do I use this for good? Where do I actually come from? Why do I have these powers? I'm only 14. I don't want to save the world. I want to just play with my friends. Like, why is there a lot of pressure upon me at this very young age to do something that I wasn't trained to do? But sometime down the line, not just in Niano, but in life, we realize that destiny isn't about what you want. It's about what are you going to do when you're presented with that choice. Like, are you going to choose to create? Are you going to choose to take that step forward? Are you going to take the risk? Are you going to risk failure? Are you going to risk fear? Are you going to actually put yourself out there, as well? So for me, there's a lot of very personal stories that I put into Iyanu, but obviously in a fantastical way, where you get, magic powers and dragons and all these different things.
I love that.
I love that. Yeah.
It transcends any time, era, dimension. It's a very heavy lesson to learn, honestly, because I'm sure I can already see all the different examples that you can pull from this. I'm sure there's going to be references of people who just kind of keep that just packed away. And of course, people who thrive with that and seeing what it's like to share that gift with other people. That's beautiful. That's very beautiful. I have to ask more about you though. So Lagos, I've heard that the place is just gorgeous, beautiful. And I noticed that every time I get any sort of information from Lagos, it's usually from an artistic sense. I'm either learning about an artist or a writer, or what is it about Lagos that just inspires everyone there to just really show their gift?
I mean, it's a good question. I would I would say, first of all, Nigerians are very proud people. We're extremely, extremely proud. There's a joke that goes around where it's like almost everybody has a Nigerian friend. And that's because we're out there, right? And I mean, I just think it's something that, growing up on the continent of Africa, there's been so much negativity surrounding our history, most of which has been deleted, obviously not only deleted, but maybe things that have been altered to make Africans look a certain way. So
We
there's a
can
lot
attest
of
to that over
yeah.
here.
So and
Yep.
it's also another thing where it's like for me personally, what I even try to do with my stories is, Africans are Africans wherever they are. Just because you were born in the US, it doesn't just make you an African American. You are an African as well. And I think we have to do a better job of bridging that gap between the homeland and everybody outside in the diaspora.
Diaspora.
But yeah, there's a lot of negativity that when you're growing up like in the 90s and the 80s, when you see Africans on TV, it's always portrayed in either like, oh, this witch doctor, or
Oh,
some, there's the term African booty scratch. Like there's been a lot of
Mhm.
derogatory things.
yeah.
And so you grew up with that mindset. So you really have to, it's almost like not necessarily because you want to outshine people, but there's been so much negativity, you have to counter that with excellence. And I think
Mhm.
that's where it comes from for us. That's why you see something like Afrobeats now, which is music that comes from Nigeria, becoming so huge, right? And I feel like for us, the next frontier to the music is entertainment. That's why you have things like Nollywood, like the movie industry in Nigeria becoming huge. And I think comics and animation is another thing, and gaming as well, coming from Africa. So yeah, we have a lot of um baggage that it's in terms of
Yep.
like, okay, this is not how you see us on TV is not who we are. And we have to go an extra mile to remind people that we're actually excellent people. But I think that's just a black narrative all around. It's not just Nigerians. I
Right.
think just for black people in general, this is something that we all struggle with.
It's a different flavor though, because
Yeah.
I would feel that like out here, for black people in America, it's funny hearing that, oh, I didn't know black people were into that, when they
Yeah.
literally lifted like anime out of the
Yeah.
dirt in American culture. And then
Mhm.
like it's really just distance for us.
Yeah.
Like we know in our heart of hearts, Africa has a whole breadth of interests, things,
Yeah.
everything, like, from nerds and everything. It's just about getting Americans, like Amerocentrism out of the way, just getting the American out of the way,
Yeah.
so people can actually be exposed to everything else. And
Yeah.
speaking of animations, because you said that you were inspired when you were younger, what were some animations that inspired you, and how did you get into being an artist?
I mean, like I watched everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the question is what animation did next. I mean, obviously X-Men, Batman, Superman, Justice League, Transformers, Voltron, Ninja Turtles. I mean, the
Watch the
list.
Hey.
same
It's like
channels.
literally, it's like the list is endless. I mean, I'm an '80s kid, so that was my jam. As well. So these are things that inspired me. But in terms of Iyanu itself, like more the inspiration is more from things like Avatar, The Last Airbender, The Legend of Korra, Dragon Prince. So these are some of the animations that inspired me to create the book. And when people do read, whether it's volume 1, volume 2, or volume 3 that drops tomorrow, you will see those influences, but obviously it's done in a different way where the story is unique on its own. But for me, like I said, I've always, from the first moment, like one of my earliest memories as a kid is watching Transformers, right? Like, so from like my first, like the first couple of memories of like I've always loved the arts. I've just growing up, I just never felt like it was for me, because like I said, I didn't see people that looked like me doing it. It's one of the reasons why when I, see people like you like promoting black and African art, it's really important, because you don't know what the effect that it has on kids or even adults, to be able to see other people having success out there in comics, animation, and gaming, because that's one more person that's going to be like, if X can do it, then that means I can. So for me, it's been, something that's been in my heart. I was lucky enough to move over to the United States in the early 2000s when Marvel became this whole big thing with, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man.
MCU.
And once the MCU launched, to me, I like there was nothing else. I was going to George Washington University, believe it or not, studying
Oh.
undergrad and masters in computer science. But this is what I've always wanted to do. So as soon as I got my degree, I said, Mom and Dad, I've done it. Now, can you let me do whatever I want? Because if you know an African parent, is like you have to be an
Oh
engineer,
yeah.
a doctor,
Yeah.
a lawyer, an architect, or just at least have a degree. So like the degree is done. Now I'm just gonna find a way to do what I've always wanted to do.
You weren't far from
That's
Howard.
funny.
That's where I was. And that's
Oh,
when
really? Yeah,
yeah, right when the MCU was settling. That's when everything started.
yeah,
I might have walked by you a few times. Oh my God.
Look
It's
familiar?
such a small world,
It
you
is.
know? Like, my
It is.
Lord. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That truly is amazing. I'm excited to see more. If y'all have any questions, y'all, hey,
Yeah, I had a couple
Lloyd,
of
Natasha,
questions.
and Tasha, you know, like y'all can ask questions too. I just
Yeah.
talk a lot. All right. Like that's why I'm here. That's why they got host up here. I'm just here to fill. But please, if y'all got questions, please,
Oh no, we just
Christine.
listening because we've been
Yeah, we
following
just
him
been
for a
doing it.
while.
Listen.
Yeah,
We've been
it's-
excited to get the story.
Oh, that's funny. That's
This is
great.
wild. Being in a call with somebody who's just been sharing their potential, which is what their story is about.
Yes, with others sharing their potential, and that's what. So kind of going back, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're breaking down the story and the depth and the lure of Ianu, the first thing that came, you know, and I know you guys are gonna laugh, is "Shine Bright Like a Diamond," like that song from Rihanna, because I like that thought process of it being a gift, right? What you have, what your talent is a gift.
Yeah.
And I love the message that I receive from what you're saying is that it's not that you're just blessed with this talent, period. It's that it's your duty to share this gift. It's whatever you've been blessed with, whatever potential, whatever talent, whatever has been put inside you, that it is your duty to share it. So I think about it like when you were naming all the lists of different things, like an artist, you know, a writer, a director, even with you guys in content creation and things like that. Cause I know we've seen the comments of, oh, your content saved my life, you know? So for a lot of those people that are like, hey, oh, I don't know if anybody's going to watch it. They're like shy and meager about it. This is like not just a call, but a cry to go out and share what's within. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, if you permit me, I can tell another story because this is where it got real for me. So, I believe maybe 2 or 3 years ago, one of the people that have read my books, you know, sent me a message. I think it was via email or DM. I can't remember, and it was like, I just have to tell you a story. Like, I grew up in Marvel and DC. And I love all the characters. And I took my daughter. I can't remember how she must have been. Maybe 6, 8, 10 years old or something. I took her to a comic book shop and I was trying to get her into like Wonder Woman and some of the things that, you know, I love. And he said I went around, you know, for 30 minutes and I was like, do you like this? And he was like, no. And he just got frustrated and just literally just walked away from her. I was like, all right, I'm going to go and get stuff for myself. And then as he was going to the checkout, she screamed, Daddy, I found one. And I was like, oh, yes. Okay. What is it going to be? And then he went to the comic and she pointed to one of my books and it was like, this one. And it was like, I've never seen this before. Why do you want it? And it's because she looks like me. And this was from one of my characters, Malika Warrior Queen, who there was a cover, I think it was for volume 2, where she had dreadlocks in the front of the page. And I think her daughter had that same type of hair. And that was what attracted her to the book. So to me, when I heard that, it took this to another level for me, where it's like, again, do I want to be a successful writer and comic book creator? Yes. Do I want to be able to support my family while I'm doing it? Of course I do. Although, yeah, comics, you know, and money, let's not even get into that conversation right now. So that's for another podcast. But what I'm trying to say is that to me, it just opened my eyes where it's like, okay, those things are important, but this is as well. I don't know who is going to, and these are the stories that people come to tell me, right? There are more people that have these experiences that don't tell the creator. This is what people don't understand. Like when one person comes and shares a positive message with them, they think it's just that one person. But I guarantee you that you can multiply that by 10. For every one person that comes to you and says, I loved your book because of X, Y, and Z, there are 10 people who have felt either the same or better that are not telling you about it. So to me, like I've always had that mindset that, yes, all these other taking care of a family, being successful, these are important and you should always build your craft towards that. But don't forget about the impact that you can make, especially for people of color, because for the consumers, as well as the creators themselves, you don't know how far your work goes in terms of motivating them or letting them know that this is something that is possible for them to do as well.
I love it.
You're just putting a fire in my belly.
It's I love inspirational media. Like I know we love horror, Tasha. You know, like, I'm about it. You know, we love that scary stuff, preferably not real. But it's also nice to get a hold of media where it lets people or reminds people like, hey, give people the chance,
Yeah.
to fall in love with you.
Yeah.
And I think
Mhm.
that's wonderful. I'm sold. I really don't have any other like questions other than like, frivolous ones like, oh my God, what was your color palette? Like, like
Oh,
how long did
that's
it take
actually
you to
we
decide?
are.
Yeah.
We do have some
What's
of the images that we're going to put up there. Before we do, I
Please.
do want to ask a quick question.
Yeah.
Going back to something that Chelsea had brought up, and you guys were talking about, essentially bringing up the diaspora, right?
Yeah.
And how it like intersects with nerd culture.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do want to ask, because I know for us in the States, Black Panther was like monumental in that regard for us. And so for someone who is from Nigeria and you are a part of the comic book space,
Yeah.
did that movie or did that property have the same type of impact for you? How did that relate?
100%. To see and look, say what you want about Marvel and Disney or whatever, but they opened a door for me. So I've been doing this roughly since 2012. But really nobody paid attention to me until after Black Panther came out. That's when I signed my book. I signed a 10-book deal with Dark Horse in 2019.
Okay.
But again, like I've been, and this is another thing that I always try to tell people is that it's hard being a creative, no matter what industry, whether it's gaming, comic books, animation, and then it's 10 times harder if you're a minority. And I'm not trying to get political here. I'm just being real.
Be real. Go ahead.
So it's never going to be easy. Like it's not going to be easy. And for me, I had made up my mind when I started that I'm in this for the long haul. So going back to what I said, like when Marvel announced Black Panther in 2016, I knew that all I had to do was just be around when that movie came out, and it was going to open the door and shine a light on creators like me, which it did. Unfortunately, this is the way the world works. Social proof, sometimes it takes a bigger company to do something for a smaller company or creator to be recognized. Is it fair?
Yeah.
No. Is it life? Absolutely yes. So you have to take the opportunities where it comes. And to me, I use that opportunity. That's I enjoyed the movie. It's one of my top 5 MCU movies. I enjoyed the movie and I loved what it did. The fact that the accents, weren't like him, because I heard something about at some point there was going to be British accents. I would have literally walked out of the theater if that happened, because that's just ridiculous. So I think, obviously, God rest his soul, Chadwick Boseman did a fantastic job holding down that character, and then Ryan Coogler as a director did a masterful job. And like to me, that was definitely a turning point for me in my career when that movie came out. All of a sudden, a lot of calls and emails started coming in.
So you're in like company with me at least, because I 100% agree. I already think that it's the responsibility of large media, companies to kind of you gotta force that media. I really do think what you put in front of audience is what they'll accept and see. So exactly what you said, when we get those opportunities to show that, look at, like, we do this, we've been doing this, and you finally you see it now and you can't avoid it. Absolutely, because we can support as many small businesses and small creators, and I'm sorry, not the word small, undiscovered. I love that. I think my co-host gave me that. We can support as many undiscovered artists as possible, and I'm always going to do that. But where we're going to find even greater change is when the Disneys, the Apples, and these other companies come through and finally pick that stuff up. And that's always going to be great, because both can be true. Like, we got to work on Disney and Apple. Like, they got problems, but also we need to use that. Like, I'm using that for every chance I get, because that's a pathway. And I'm really glad that was a positive in your story. That is so exciting to hear that you got. I have
chills.
Amazing.
I have chills, because it's like when you think of all those little things, like going back to the accents, Chadwick had to fight for that because remember he was introduced in Civil War with the Russo brothers. You know, he had to fight for that authenticity of not having a British accent, not having an American accent, because they were going to have him from Compton.
Something you would think was no brainer.
They were just they wanted to whiteify it to make it a what is the word, palatable for the wider audiences, and he fought for that. And the fact that he fought for that and that small thing, right? Well, it seems small, right? But it has huge impact. It has huge impact. And the aspect of the story and the stories that they decided to tell, like especially with Wakanda being this, not a suffering, exactly on the note that you talked about, like how Africa is perceived or Africans are perceived in various countries. But no, this African country is the richest in the world, So I love these. And like I said, this is definitely giving me chills. And the fact that you were able to get a deal from that, I absolutely love. I think that as a people, there are a lot of times where our people will be like, well, why do they have to do a Black version? They should just accept us in the regular version. We shouldn't just appear for the Black version. But it's like, they don't default to us,
Yeah.
When they're like, hey, please, they don't default to us.
Say something real quick about that. And this is, look, like I said, the world is not a fair place. I think this is the reality that everybody needs to wrap their head around first. We should continue to fight for change and all these different things, but right now things are not balanced, unfortunately.
Right.
Things are not balanced for people of color, things are not balanced for women, and all type of minorities. But what I will say is that more often than not, and I again, it's not all the time. If you stay in this long enough and you're doing it for the right reasons, you will have a moment. You will have one moment at least where there will be an opportunity, and if you're not prepared, that moment will pass you by. Like I said, Black Panther came out. It aligned the stars for me, where people went on Google. I'm sure I believe this is how it happened, and like I need an African creator, right, that does comic books. And I can guarantee you that my name popped up because I had been doing it for maybe 5 or 6 years up until that point. And when my pitch to Dark Horse, when I first got there, was literally, I had a stack of 10 graphic novels this thick. I dropped it on the table and I said, you're not going to see anything like this anywhere else.
Say it with your chest.
That was the pitch. I wasn't saying, oh, my characters are from here and this is, I just said, you won't see this, a universe of African fantasy, superhero, and sci-fi done in this way for this long with an already established fan base. But if I wasn't doing this for all that time, my moments would have probably been missed because I wouldn't have been prepared. So the things you do in the dark that nobody likes, that nobody shares, that nobody comments on, if you continue to do that and do it well, you will probably have one moment, and it's your job to take advantage of it.
You know what? You know what, Roy? You know what, Roy? You know what? You know what? This might have been a mistake because you're speaking a little too much truth right now, and I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it because it's tying back up into your book.
You feel called out?
In your books. Yeah. And maybe I do, but don't worry about that right now. All right? Because it is crazy, and you hear it all the time, but it's you said it in a way that just resonates so well with me, where if you just do what you like to do and you do it for you and you keep doing it, and like you've built up this timeline, this rapport with yourself, this relationship with yourself, gotten comfortable with it, you built your skill, and you have it, like it's there. It's not, you can't even argue with it when you walk in the Dark Horse and do your pitch, like it's there, like and that's amazing. So it's like, bruh, it's so simple when you say it like that, but there's so much power in just phrasing it that way, and you literally have it represented in like so many parts of your life. So like you're just like you're practicing it and preaching it.
You preach,
really cool. It's really cool, and I have to give you your ups for that. So like seriously, congrats, man. It's really cool. Yeah, you're inspiring people to do the same. Like you're like, here's the path to success. This is what I've done. This is the only way that I can show you, and this is how you should go about. Like Boom.
Mhm. And then even like
I hear you, man. I hear you.
showing it in this supernatural way with how you're doing it in the story, which
Yeah.
goes to a saying my husband says all the time, like, don't let them know you're giving them medicine.
Mhm.
And that's exactly, yeah, for real. Because once you let them know, they be like, oh, I don't
Then
like
you're
it.
I
But
don't
if
want
you,
that.
Okay.
if they don't
I
know,
hear
they're like,
you.
yeah.
Trust me, I have a
No, it's good.
2-year-old, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly the way it
Oh,
works.
Godspeed to you. I got a 4-year-old, okay? And them terrible twos were not until her threes,
You
and
know
they
what?
last
I
until
mean,
halfway
I
through
don't know if
4.
you can see the bags
Is it
under my
terrible twos
eyes.
and?
Or,
I
yeah.
hey, no,
You know what?
I'm
She's
beating
5
you.
now. I forgot. She turned 5.
I can't see nothing. What's your skincare routine? Because the way oh
Girl,
oh
stop.
I'm asking. Can I not ask? I thought this is I meet cool people.
Girl,
If
bags
This is not
where?
a safe space.
but no, okay, I lift my face up so you
Skincare
can't see it.
regimen
But
is
when I
back
do
to
this, you see that? Look at that. Don't talk to me.
Girl,
Don't talk to me.
I'm not about to
I
flex.
do have a really small question just
Yes, please.
because I know me. Because you brought up Malika, and I think I
Yes.
asked it a few weeks ago, but I didn't
Yeah.
remember to go back and see if you answered. Is the
Yeah.
animation coming back?
All right, so here's this about that. I'm going to speak in so much coded executive language.
Okay,
So
we're listening.
I'm just
We're
giving you a
listening.
heads up.
Mhm.
So, and for those that don't know, right? So, Malaika Warrior Queen is another one of my books. It's this historical fantasy that takes place in the Kingdom of Azaz, which is where Malaika rules, and she has to keep the peace in an expanding kingdom where she has threats both internally and externally as well. And she carries a golden magic sword, so she's super badass and cool. I did an animated short based on the books in 2019, and it went viral. To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting it
He
to become.
said,
I wasn't expecting it to be.
Set
I
it up.
really, what I was
I've
trying to
seen
do.
this.
I was
Yep.
trying to show producers that, hey, give me money and I can do this for a longer thing. So without getting into too many details, right? What happened was, at some point pitching Malaika, Iyanu came into the fray, right?
Mm.
And Iyanu sort of like got over the finish line. So Iyanu, for those that don't know, is going to be adapted as an animated series on Cartoon Network and Max.
okay.
So
I'm ready for that.
it doesn't. So the Iyanu animation, everything is going well with that. It doesn't mean I've forgotten about Malaika. Now there are things that are going on behind the scenes I can't say. But Malaika animation is not dead. I just can't say more than that. And I know that this is
That's good
something that
enough for me.
frustrates everybody because there's so many people that have been waiting for 3 years. And like I said, trust me, I have not forgotten about that. And that's all I can say. I'm
You have
We
an
sorry.
exciting
the
present.
Nigerian cousins now. So when it come out, we're gonna be like, "Oh, that's Roy. Oh yeah, that's Roy right there. Y'all know we know Roy."
Oh my god! I'm gonna be real dirty with the name drop for real. I'm gonna be like, oh my god.
Oh, you don't know Roy because we know Roy.
Like,
We
so,
know Roy.
Yeah,
I
we
Yeah,
know.
I know.
One day we'll breathe the same air, but I totally know them. Like,
Yeah. So really quick,
Chill.
we've got Karma in the chat. Shout out to the Blur girl. Okay, we
Shout
see her. There is some artwork. We have some panels. So
Yes.
go ahead. Yanni or
Beautiful
Destiny, if you
artwork.
could pull those up. Yeah. Do you mind explaining like what we're looking at here?
Yeah, so in volume 3 of Iyanu, so volume 1 and 2, she's been pretty much going on a journey on her own. But volume 3 is where it really gets good because she joins up with 2 other characters, B, who is in the purple, and Toye, who is in the purple, and B, who is in like the white. You can see the picture in the middle. So these kids come together to form what we call Team Chosen. This is the team that's going to help Iyanu to get to the source, which is where the roots of her powers and all the answers that she's been looking for are as well. Also, Iyanu also gets to finally meet her animal guide Ekun, which is this massive 5-foot tall giant leopard that you can see with blue glowing spots. And like I said, the 4 of them form Team Chosen. And then this is really where the adventure starts to kick off. And you can see they're taking on like a horde of like corrupt animals all the way on the right, and the image on the right, as well. But yeah, this is also one of the things that is central to the overall theme is that light always overcomes darkness. But
Mhm.
the second thing that's most important in the book is found family or chosen family, which way I like to describe it, because sometimes you have a a much longer lasting bond with the family that you find as opposed to the family that you're born into. Whether that's unfortunate or fortunate, sometimes that's just the way it happens. And the thing that really bonds these three kids is that they're all orphans and
Oh, okay.
outcasts, and they all bond on this one thing and help Yana to get to her ultimate goal, which is to get to the source and figure out all the answers she's been looking for in volume 1, 2, and 3. And for everybody that's been reading volume 1 and 2, there's a massive surprise at the end of volume 3 that you cannot miss. If I say any more, I'm going to spoil the entire series. So if you've been a fan of this so far, I can't wait for you to see the last page of Yana volume 3.
Okay.
Awesome.
Go ahead on, Roy.
Awesome.
Psyched.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Like I said, the story, I love the artwork. I'm actually really excited to learn more about her and the inner workings of the ups and downs that she has to come across and what she's experiencing. And especially knowing the depth of the lore and the inspiration for the story. It adds like additional layers to it that are really, really cool.
I was also going to say a couple of things, because obviously I've talked about the story and the story behind the story and some of the themes, but just visually, a lot of what you see in the books is actually inspired by the real Yoruba land. So from like food to clothing to terrain, and what I've also done is that in the middle of the chapter break, so from chapter 1 to chapter 2, typically what I would do is say, here's what you saw in the book, and this is why this is actually where it comes from. So one thing
fire.
Yeah, one thing that you will notice if you read volume 1 is that the city has this massive walls. The city of Ilu has this massive walls. It's actually inspired by the Great Walls of Benin. And a lot of people don't know that in the 16th century, Benin had walls that were longer and larger than the Great Walls of China. This is stories that we don't get to, even like, we don't know about that. That's massive. Like, everybody knows about the Great Walls of China, but really no one knows that there were actually, human structures built by Africans that were bigger than that. So
Let's talk about it.
yeah, a lot of these things, like I said, forgotten knowledge, erased knowledge, or ignored knowledge, I try to piece it into the fantasy, because at the end of the day, this isn't a history book. I don't want people to get that wrong. But I think it's also important, and I think actually it's more enjoyable for you to understand the root of where this comes from. And almost everything in Iyanu that you see, like even the fighting style, for instance, there's no kung fu, like it's all capoeira. And for people that don't know, capoeira actually originated in Africa in a place called Angola. It was called Engolo as well too. The slaves carried it from Africa, all the way to Brazil, which is how it became, capoeira. So the fighting style is strictly, there's no kung fu, it's capoeira. So there's a lot of things that are like just, here, there, that sort of bring out the story in a rich way, but also just looks cool visually as well.
I really want to piggyback off of that too, because what I'm learning recently is that a lot of people will say like, oh, the first stories on paper were like the first stories ever recorded, which isn't true. Like it's they try to just keep taking away little bits of like, oh, well, African stories weren't written on paper, and are they really stories and stuff like that? And I'm just like, why? How do we get here? How are we so willing to put Beowulf as the first written story because it was on paper when we were literally writing on papyrus and all of these other things well before that? And it's just, I'm really glad that you're doing this, because it's just really annoying to see people keep just taking, like even today, from just the factual thing. They keep trying to delegitimize it. It irks me to my soul. So
it makes me think of like the
them.
pyramids and the
Don't
how
get
they
me
were
started
saying,
on
like,
them
when you would see
pyramids.
Let's not get started on.
Let's not get started on these pyramids. I am sick of
I'll short it down. The noses thing, okay? What was learned when we were in school, and then when the truth that came out afterwards. I'll just say that I think that what you're doing, the word that of what you're saying is important. And the fact that it's getting a show and it's not tied to, because I mean, I love fantastical and I love fantastical cities and whatnot, but there's such a jewel in the fact that this is a real place that people can go to, and there's references to things that they can eat and see and be a part of. I definitely can foresee after this goes on a Cartoon Network and starts to get bigger and things like that, and gets more eyes across it, how there'll be people visiting just to see those things and to be a part of those things, you know? So what you're doing is very important. So
I want to ask. Oh, please go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was just going to say real quickly, like, have you ever watched a show and it was so good that you had to go and Google after that? Like, oh, where's like that's I feel like that's when as a creator, when you can get people to look for information outside of the boundaries of the story you're telling, whether that's a book or a movie, you've won. Because what you've done now is you've gotten people invested in your world beyond, you know, the limitation of a 2-hour window for a movie or 100 pages, you know, for a book. So to me, that's why for me, like, I get joy when people say that your book has actually allowed me to go back and research or do like my ancestry, for instance, you know. So again, I just wanted to put that out there that, you know, this is some of the reasons why for me personally, you know, authenticity is very paramount.
I want to say that I know we've been very heavy because it's very exciting stuff that you're working on, but I know that both of you can weigh in on this too. I wanted to ask our founders of Midnight Comics, has there been any parallels with what you heard from Roy today on y'all's journey? Like, we want to hear from y'all too. Like, what's it like going and making a whole comic company?
It's a fun journey, but it's definitely tough. And it just a sidebar. Roy, like one of the folks that we were like looking at early on, because we started 3 years ago, right? And so again, you're like one of the people that's just like, they're doing this. Like, let's one of the things that we tell people all the time is like,
saw that looked like us,
right? That's actually in this field and actually doing it. And some of the things like we tell people like, well, what did you get? So just do it. And so again, like going back to like what you were saying earlier, just being in that right place, being present in what you're doing, and staying persistent and engaged and excited about the route that you wanted to go. Thank you. And we were just sitting back listening, like,
I mean, because we were following you, but we don't think we knew
the journey. The journey. Yeah. So. No,
that's smart. And I didn't even tell them that so I love this. Like, this was like, because they didn't know you were going to be here.
I'm glad.
We're trying to look all cool, but we're like fanboying and girls.
You're like covering it, and you're like, okay.
I just wanted to say something real quick before I forget. I know I've said a lot, and what I'm saying, I'm not trying to, you know, patronize people or talk like it's easy. It's not easy, and everybody's journey. Everybody's journey is different. Just because it took me 5 years doesn't mean it's going to take you 5. Might take you 10. Might take you 2. I don't know. That's not. Nobody really knows, right? But I also just want to understand that there's a lot of people out there putting work, and it's hard. This creative industry is hard, especially for people like us. So I understand if you're going through that, I see you and understand you. But I also wanted to say to that end, right? It's important to have a good team around you, right? So I also have to shout out to my artists for like even Iyanu, like Gordon Akpan, you know, and Chima Kalu, who have been on the book since volume 1 all the way to volume 3, and some of my other artists, you know, who have worked on all my other books. Like, I wouldn't be here without them today. Like, I'm surrounded by an excellent team who puts in work on a daily basis that, you know, like I am proud to put out. So I don't want to sit down here and look like the person that did it all on his own. Like even just having a good wife is huge. Like the person you marry.
Tell him again.
I don't even want to go into that. Like,
tell him again.
Yes. So, like, I have to put that out there as well. I don't want people to just think that, oh, this guy does everything himself. Like, I have a lot of people around me.
The game.
I think this is the first time everybody's married. Everybody's married on today's episode. Shout out to the married folks.
I just wanted to put that out there.
You see Tasha's name, Married to the Real.
And some people still won't know that. Like, I literally had somebody like be like, y'all are married?
Y'all gotta repeat it like 50 times for people.
It was like, oh, I thought that meant something else. I thought we were just married to the real, like not even
just the real.
Sorry, I just wanted to put that out there. Like,
thank you.
You know,
Heck yeah.
It takes
We've been loving this whole.
They do. It do. Tasha, what's it like? I gotta know. Like, what's your support system? Like, you know how when they be like, "Oh, I got 20% today," and you like, "Well, I guess I got 80." You know, like
Yeah,
what?
like that sometimes. It be
Like
like
for
that.
real. Like because
That's
I
that's
know
how I
that.
ended up with the self-care, self-love, because you have to take care of yourself.
Please
Because
tell
if you
me
don't, how you gonna take care of everybody else?
so I can ask you about your skincare routine because nobody else giving up
Girl,
the
you
D.
can't,
don't
you
let me
can't
get close
ask
to
her.
this camera, because
Can
like,
you please?
stop,
Please?
stop.
But I want to hear it like when it comes because it's really everybody here has their creation story. So
Yeah.
you got to give me some too. Like you got to share a little bit. Like I know our founders here, they shared that, oh yeah, I mean, y'all, we did what Roy said. We followed the blueprint. We've been following them for a minute. So we just put their words into action. Good on y'all. Good on y'all. I'm
Yeah.
getting to y'all's level. But with you, I would love to know more about what that ebb and
Girl.
flow is like.
Mm.
And your don't do
Not the
that.
girl.
Don't do that. Don't do that because I need
Girl.
hope. All right, I'm gonna need you to stop.
What do
Come
you
on.
want to know? And I'll do my best.
What's I
That's
want to
all
know
I can
your
offer.
for me it's the day to day. And I know every day is different.
Every day, yes, because me and my husband have 3 kids. A lot of people still don't know that either.
Wow.
I have all boys, 2 teenagers. One just graduated and turned 18 this year.
Congrats.
But our youngest son is autistic, so that in itself is like a challenge.
Mhm.
So I have to say, like, I'm blessed to have, I guess, like the kids and the husband that I have, because I'm the only girl in the house. And I can really say that, like, I'm spoiled. Like, a lot of people can't say that. Like, I don't have to
That's
pump
beautiful.
gas. I don't have to lift up on heavy stuff if I don't have, like, it's not like,
I
and it's
got
not,
one man,
and it
and I
doesn't
don't
have
have
to
to do
be,
none of that either. You right. You
but it
got
don't
3
have,
of them.
and it don't have to be stated. Like, I don't have to sit there and be like,
You ain't gotta
oh, you're
ask.
not
That I'm
going,
working on
you know
that
what I'm
part.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, um,
That's
I have to
beautiful.
give props to Trey, because like he does a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a man that can cook, do laundry, clean if he needs
Get
to,
it up.
whatever. Like,
Oh,
it's
I
not
do.
like,
Hold on. I wanna jump in on that because I think what were we playing a game or something like that? And he came in because he wanted you to taste the food.
yes, when we were playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he cooked. It was Tuesday, and it like we all have different days to cook. Like, I taught my kids, like, we teach them how to cook too. So like, I do Sunday and Mondays, Trey does Tuesday, and my older kids do Wednesday and Thursday, and then we eat out on the weekends. That's kind of how we had to do it, so everybody can have their own freedom to do whatever too. So he cooked, and he like busted here. Hey, you gotta taste this. You gotta. I'm like, like,
so
sir,
proud,
please,
you know?
yes.
Give
Like,
him
he be
his
getting on my nerves,
flowers.
and then he gotta fix a Flintstone size portion. I'm like, I can't eat all that. Like, I can't eat all that.
I
So,
love that. I love
like,
that.
but so it's nice to like
Jurassic
have
size.
that, because the
It's
narrative
huge.
that I get tired of online is like the whole men don't do this or women don't do this thing that they have going on, and
Girl.
nobody pays attention that it's the black people that's saying this stuff. Like, do y'all see the white people doing this to each other? Like, do y'all see
Oh,
that
well,
it's like
well,
us?
well.
I mean, they
well.
probably
You
do,
gotta
but you
dig.
see,
But I
it
found
be
it.
more of us though that be
She's like,
like,
you gotta dig, but I
please.
found
Well,
it.
everybody gonna have their issues, of course.
I find
Unfortunately,
tea
you
on all
don't
of
have to
us.
dig for hours. That's the
But
sad
like,
You're
part.
right.
right,
You're right.
every
But think about
post
it. That's
is
your
like,
circle. That's your circle though. I hear you. I hear you. And I do think we be loud, but also like who you talking to? Us.
and I'm okay
When
with
they do
being
it,
loud.
when they do it though, when they do it, and this is just insider info, they go to brunch and talk about
Not
it. And
the brunch.
they do. They be going
This
like
is for
they say it in
Rachel, you
person.
big.
And they're so comfortable to say it. Like they just say it at the family gatherings and they say it at lunch
That's
and
true.
dinner. And it's just like a moment. It's like it's
us. Unfortunately, there's
show.
podcasts. There's this
It's just so,
podcast
like,
about against this
online
one.
is just so toxic. It's just so
Yeah.
toxic. It's
It
like,
did get gross. It did get gross
It
quick.
did.
No, but I
like
get
an
you. No.
example of like
Yeah,
beef
go ahead.
that
Go
I
ahead.
get tired of seeing online is Cardi B and Nicki. Y'all
Oh,
are
girl, yeah.
old and tired, and I'm sick of it, because like, and it's the fans. Like, y'all fans did y'all, like, they did this.
So
You know what I'm saying?
2019.
Like, y'all could be getting the bag together, but y'all fans is like, it's just,
I hear
it's
you.
just annoying.
It's social media and the fact that anybody could just pick up the horn and say whatever they want to. But I do agree. I hate the narrative that, like the public narrative that, Black women this or Black men that.
We
When
always
it's
mad and we loud, and
and it's a
I am always
Yeah, there's
mad and I'm
always a
always
situation.
loud.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's just true. I'm sorry. I have to embrace
But
my truth.
it's just like, I just feel like any family and marriage and relationships are work. So if you're not the kind of person that's gonna put in work, you're not gonna find nothing that's gonna work for you.
That
And that's
part.
just it at the end of the day. So
No,
and
they
you have
learning
to
it.
you have to know your people. A lot of people get in situations feeling
When
like
you-
they can change it.
But you
instead
know
of
how when y'all start creating stuff, that's extra work. You know, when you decide like I want to create with you, I want to go in on this thing with you that's outside of
Yeah.
getting a 9 to 5 and having kids.
baby,
Like,
baby.
what was that like bringing on that extra? Like, did
Now
y'all?
we
What was
all
that
married.
conversation?
Y'all gonna be honest because y'all know everybody had them days where y'all ain't trying to see each other. And ain't no work getting done because guess what? We not gonna do it. So, I'm just
And
being
when you
for
have
real.
kids,
Like this.
and you have kids,
And you
hello?
got kids, you mad at the whole house. Don't come in my room. It's locked. Do not disturb.
Leave me alone.
Like,
I told my 4-year-old, my 5-year-old, I keep forgetting she's 5 now. Today, I was like, "Mommy needs mommy time." So for 10 minutes, no questions. Question store is
girl, you
closed.
better go
Okay.
to 10 today,
Mama
the
just
whole day.
needs a
The
break.
day. The day.
Yeah.
But it's like that sometimes. People always, I guess, like they see you on camera and they feel like everything's supposed to be perfect. But at the end of the day, you know, we just trying to live and breathe like y'all. Like
I'm
we
here to
good now.
delude that.
Like
Half of my content is me fussing at my husband from time to time. We have real arguments. They're
our
never over
videos would
anything
be
serious.
hours long if we did that. Cause like
Oh no,
our videos
I
would be
nip it.
hours.
I nip it. But I feel like I didn't like make me out to be that, but I do want people to understand like me as a person, and that's my person, and we're each other. So when they
And
come
everybody
on,
not gonna understand your situation because y'all might be okay with that, but somebody on the
yeah.
outside looking, they're gonna be like, "Y'all on y'all way to divorce?" No,
And
this
they
regular.
can
This
find out the
regular.
hard way
This
because
regular.
really,
Oh,
yeah,
and it's the hard way.
in the end, it's like whatever people think on the internet. If you know me, I'm like whatever because it
Yeah.
doesn't come into this home.
You have to have a
doesn't.
thick skin to do like
And you
this
do.
upfront video creation
And you
thing.
do.
You gotta have
You
thick skin.
who is yeah, you got something to say? What's up? So yeah, like it's that all the time. And it's just whenever it's something that we're happy to talk about, joke about, because every argument we have is so unserious, like truly. But we share that because that's a part of us. And I think it shows like, yeah, no, it's not as cute as you think it is.
That's how you know you've been in it for too long when the arguments are ridiculous. Why you wear this color blue today? And you know that I don't.
So why
mess
you
with this
looking
like
at
that,
if you
so
I mean if you would come out
Lloyd,
if you would come out here
Lloyd, I saw that look at Natasha. Okay,
what's good, Lloyd? What you got to
These
say?
are- We're just listening, but these are all very valid points.
her expression says it all. Her expression
He
says it
tried
all.
me. No, you brought up a sore point, Tasha, because he tried me on my eyeliner and my eye makeup, and I
No,
was
because
like,
why
no.
Trey be in the videos now that he got dressed with these anime ass hairstyles? Like he just
Oh,
feel
now?
like you bold now. You know what I'm saying?
Now?
Like he got the eyes in today. You know what I'm saying? The Ichigo tomorrow. Like what are we
Oh, so
doing?
now,
Like
now we popping off. Okay. You know, he
Just
tried to tell me
doing
he
it.
did hair back in the day. And then I was like,
I'm
oh,
not
okay.
playing with you.
Can you braid my hair?
No.
Didn't move an inch. Didn't say nothing.
Can't even make
Shut
a
up
straight
real
part.
quick.
Can't
Just
make a
wanted to
straight part.
say it. Just to say it. Ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
I'm here. If y'all ever want to share just small like parts of just the ridiculousness, because I know every relationship has it.
Girl,
Just
look how
add it.
her eyes closed while she said
Because
it.
it's
y'all.
true. It's true.
Oh, you know all of that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's just different flavors. More people, more problems, honestly. But it's good problems, I guess. But it's just the ridiculous factor just triples.
Next level.
That's
hilarious.
Good, didn't
I love
But
that.
I do want to,
didn't I?
because I know, Roy, I know we only had you for a limited amount of time, but I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Interns, if you guys could drop the link again, volume 3 for Iyanu comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
Hey.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you for sharing this, Roy, for real.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
Y'all did amazing.
It's my pleasure. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with you guys. More fun than I actually thought, because that last 10 minutes.
I won.
That's what we do.
I can see I've never been part of a podcast like this, so
I can't guarantee they're all like this though. Okay, because what we do here is different.
I'm gonna be real. I
need
chill
Chelsea to professionally start reading stories so I can have her read me a bedtime story. I like her voice.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Freud's books. This is your fault.
You
Yeah,
done
we're
turned
doing
on the
that.
Valley Girl voice.
I did. I can do all the. I can do so many accents. I'll do my best, but like I'll try. It'll be very professional. Yeah.
See, I need that like a story where you just change it to all the characters. It's like there you have it.
I'm gonna be a problem. Let's just be real. Thank you,
Listen,
Roy.
Roy,
so,
if you
so
need someone to
much.
voice, you got Chelsea right
All
here.
right.
Oh
You know,
Lord, cross your heart.
Thank
Don't
you
lose an
guys so
eye.
much. It
Thank
was fun.
You have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful
All
day.
right,
when
have
this
a good
this
day.
out, let us know,
Yes.
and you can come back on. Let us know, and we can drop all the details and
I would
everything.
appreciate that. Thank you guys. Take care.
You too.
Bye. Thanks, and shout out again to Karma, the Blurred Girl. She's
Yes, I see her in the
the
chat.
glue within that sandwich, and between connecting me and Roy, and it's fire. It's fire because it's like when you create a space where you can show and spotlight and highlight a lot of Black nerds in the space, and then you get hit up by the queen Black nerd, Blurred Girl. Shout out to you.
When you get hit up by the queen, little cutie gamer though, to be like, "Hey, you want to do blah blah with me?" That's cute. That's cute right there.
Oh, you guys are sweet. You're sweet. You're sweet.
Christine bringing everybody together week to
That's
week.
cute. Yeah.
But I mean, Karma, she wrote for Marvel. Okay, so she's queen Black nerd. Okay, so I'm blushing over here. I got love for you. You know that. But yeah. So speaking of Marvel and things like that, which is kind of the thing that we want to dive in. We were going to talk about the Nintendo Direct and State of Play, but marriage took over, and that's fine. That's
You really want to
that's
talk
life.
about Nintendo?
That's life. Listen,
they dropped one game.
I liked it, but my daughter loved it. She watched it twice, and then today watched it again.
Is it the Mario game? Is it that one
that she likes? She loves Princess Peach. She's a Princess Peach fan, so she was like,
she loves it. No, I'm still gonna be the resident Nintendo hater because I saw what they did in Mortal Kombat 1.
Yo, I thought that was fake. I thought it was fake. Have you seen
what happened?
The difference in the graphics are like
they were crazy.
Do I need to send a screenshot to like the interns so y'all can see it?
Send it to the interns because I was like, I gotta see.
If you got it on deck,
there it is. It's so bad.
Yes, that's the exact picture I was gonna send.
Christine,
I was like, ain't no way this real.
This was $70, bruh. $70.
Like, why would they change the graphics for Switch?
Hold on.
$70 at 30 FPS. Oh my God.
Let's rewind here. So the game is going to be released on the Switch?
Yes,
yeah,
they've been dropping games on the Switch.
What the graphics look like.
Yeah, it's.
I think I got it. Hold
on. I'm so sick.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a 30 FPS, but it's not cute. Yeah, it's not. There's more.
Bring up the picture again. Bring up the picture.
There's more. There's more than pictures, bro. Why he smiling?
Y'all made right there.
Is that real?
Yes, I put it in the green room chat. They go 2 more, y'all.
There's 2 more up in there, bro. Like it's.
Nah, I saw that and I was like,
criminal offense is wild. TC.
You have this. Oh my Lord.
No way that's real.
For this.
That's
my goodness. Hold on. Shout out to
it is.
That's a criminal offense side eye.
Yes, they should be.
Like, why would you do that?
Oh my goodness.
$70.
Shout out to you, Karma. Okay, shout out to you.
Look at that. Thank you, Blurred, for the support.
One day,
right
though.
there.
One day, ma'am.
Reminder.
Day. Claim it. One day.
I know I'm not getting by the commercial model. Okay. Oh, whoa. Whoa.
Oh, I had to sit down.
Whoa. Are these real? Hold on. Are these real?
Yes.
These are real.
These are real. Oh my God. You said no.
Wait.
Model.
Like you?
Wait.
Not nightmare fuel, please.
Hold on. Are those actual pictures from the game on the
Yes,
That's real?
Yes,
you did ask 3 times. Yes, it's real. Yeah.
I don't know what they thought they were doing. I guess they were trying to tone it down for the kids, but it looks worse.
It looks worse. It looks awful. It looks terrifying.
Imagine
and they're charging $70.
No, but does the Switch have the 110 edition? Imagine if you paid the 110 though.
Like, wait. You said $110?
Yeah, because
Yeah, so
that
if you
the
didn't get a
110
code
was
to play early, you had to pay $110.
it was 110 to play early and to get the first combat pack. I think is like included or whatever. But imagine paying that 120 with tax probably, and then it looking like that when you turn it on.
I'm
The
sorry.
Mortal Kombat 1 looking like the original Mortal Kombat 1 from back in the day.
Exactly. All of you involved should be ashamed. Do you
Take names,
understand?
make a list of
We
everybody.
You know
will
what's sad?
find
I
the
think I've seen
names.
better games than Roblox.
No, this is what they did, y'all. They didn't want Mario to be upstaged. They did
You
it for
should be
Mario.
ashamed
They did it
of
for
your-
Mario.
Mario ain't that. Stop it. Put it away.
Just-
Put it down. Mario's not.
My throat hurt. I
How
can't.
long they
Y'all
gonna
got me
be?
laughing so
How
hard.
long they gonna keep hoodwinking everybody? Because
They've been
like,
hoodwinking us for years because they still on the
Yeah,
same console,
the
releasing the
first-
same games with DLC.
Yes,
They didn't
I
release
know.
37 Mario tracks since that game came out, and I
Yeah.
don't even know how old.
like Apple can Apple, right? But I feel like with games, it's just it can't be repeated like that. I just don't feel it can survive. I'm gonna need them to start doing originals
Baby.
again because this
How many Mario? What is it? Super Mario, whatever. They done came out with the
That-
Bowser
that's
DLC.
what the Nintendo Direct.
Luigi,
That
Peach.
did
Everybody got their own
work.
DLC before they come out with a new game.
Oh, and then the remakes, and
Mhm.
yeah, because they have like
They be milking
RPGs a
it, baby.
remake,
They be
Donkey
milking
and yeah, that's a remake. The Donkey Kong one's a remake.
They
I
just
be
need
so
to
excited
stop.
thinking they coming out with new games and it be like the same
No,
thing with
this
like
ain't
another
new.
piece.
Ain't nothing new. What's
I'm
new?
not gonna lie though, I'm gonna play the Mario RPG for sure.
I'm not mad at it because that's
and
something
the-
like
Is the is
it's
it
from the old
is that the
stuff.
one where Elephant Mario is riding Yoshi?
No, that's the
No,
Wonder. That's
yeah.
Wonder,
Okay.
which I
No, the
also
RPG one
want
I
to
get
play.
because that's something that they did before, but they hadn't remade it in a long time. So
Mhm.
that I get because you needed a remake of that, but we don't need all this other shit.
No, yeah, they did a lot. There, I think a lot of it was like, oh, this game came out on the DS, and now we're remaking it for the Switch. This game came
Yeah.
out on the GameCube,
And
and
then
now
you
it's
can play
coming out
all the
here.
old games on the
Woohoo.
Switch too if you got the
Just
membership,
unvault
all
and
that
port
stuff.
that. Like, come
Mm.
on, stop
Really?
Just
The
playing.
go
thing
get
is,
go and get
the
an emulator
70.
at this point. Go and get an
Right.
emulator. Baby, I could have cooked up them graphics with them pictures.
Woo.
Like I could have did that in Photoshop.
I'm still in shock. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if
I
y'all had
saw
time to
that
really
on
sit
TikTok,
that
and I was
in.
like, somebody had to make this because I was like, this is
Like,
not
I
real.
really still
And
don't
I was
believe. I
like,
can't
oh my,
fathom.
it
I
is
can't
though. It
fathom.
really is. And
Yes,
I'm
it's
just-
real and it's sad.
Them
Look
look
at
like
us.
the original Mortal Kombat graphics from the
I will
first
fly
game.
to Japan. I will go.
Somebody
We need
really
to have a
made the executive
conversation.
decision to be like, we're gonna do this.
I'll be like,
We're
what's the
gonna dial it back to
$70.
360.
But what's the disconnect here? We ain't that far away. What's happening? I know y'all ain't. Come on, like,
I don't know,
Come on
baby.
now.
I don't know what it is.
is there something else we gotta talk about, Christine? Because that made me
Yeah.
mad.
I just hold on. I'm in shock right now. I'm in shock because I like.
Oh,
You
baby, it
know,
was
side
bad.
note, I do want to say shout out to Nintendo because they hit me up with some codes about from the
Shout out
direct.
Nintendo.
Imagine the shout out
out.
after. I cannot.
Shout out for that $110 you making us spend to play.
No.
Ooh.
Well, I hope, but like, I really hope that never came out on the Switch, because I know it's on PlayStation. I hope it didn't come out. Not
It's
the
on
110 bundle. I hope that part didn't
It
come
came
out.
out everywhere like that.
Yeah.
Because
So
it was on
so
Steam
people
and
paid
PlayStation
100.
and Xbox.
All right, let's
Because you
move
got
on.
to play the
Let's
game
move on.
early.
Let's move
Got it.
on.
Let's
So,
move on.
Secret Invasion. Goodness gracious.
Girl, my
Oh
throat.
gosh, I need
I
a
am-
breath. Like,
I'm sick.
I'm about to run out of stuff to drink. Y'all about to take me out today.
Let's I'll do the talking for y'all a little bit in the beginning
Yeah,
for
just put me
Secret
to sleep.
Invasion.
Put me to sleep.
So we find Did you just say I put you to sleep?
I told you I need you to read me the story to go to bed because your voice is so soothing.
Oh, I love it. I do that for sure. Absolutely. Hello everyone. We're gonna dive into Secret Invasion. Samuel Jackson's I feel honestly should be final project with Marvel at this point because
Baby, I know he went and slapped the hell out of somebody. When
he definitely tried and it was cool. It was cool what he did at the end of the series. But first I have to start with Christine because Christine usually has a take that I'm like, where did that come from? All right, let's talk about it.
You ain't lying.
And then and I'm like, all right, I didn't notice that, Christine. Let's break that down. And
Yeah,
then we
go
can go to
ahead.
the sultry tones
Yeah.
of
okay, so for
Bite Size
this
Secret Invasion. Yeah.
this series, I feel like I think it was the wrong time. This should have came out right after Spider-Man. The not the last one, the second one. This should have came out right after the second Spider-Man. Because the second one came out after Endgame, or is the third one that came out right after Endgame?
The third one came out after.
Okay, so then that's when this should have dropped. Or at the latest, right after WandaVision. The latest is when that should have came out. It's out of time now. My phrase is a lot of ish don't make sense. I was very annoyed by the whole, why don't you call your friends? What about the Avengers? What about your super powered friends? And he was like, this is my fight, and I was like, no, we know the real reason. The real reason is they couldn't pay them. Okay. The real reason it was the quaint. Yes, they couldn't pay them. I get that.
And don't nobody care about the new ones.
Right. We don't like the new ones, but it's like it should have been written better. A reason should have been written better. I feel like this was hella disrespectful to Talos. They made him look like a PUSSY. Okay. Yes. And my only good takeaways from this is Ben Kingsley. Whew, and I do this because if you saw that Bob Marley trailer, then baby.
Oh my God.
Baby. Okay.
Over here,
Ben Kingsley.
Lord.
I love Ben Kingsley, and I loved what was her name? Sonia? What was her name? The British lady.
Oh yeah.
The one who was doing the torture.
Oh yeah. No, she was in The Crown.
She was amazing.
I love her.
Amazing.
I love
She's
her.
Always.
I think they waited though because I'm assuming whatever questions you had about Secret Invasion are supposed to be answered in the Marvels when it comes out. So I don't know if that's kind of why that's kind of coming out back to back too. Yeah. Because the movie was supposed to come out around the same time, but the movie got pushed back.
Yes.
So
is it next month?
It's November.
November.
That it comes out, but it was supposed to be like July. So it would have came out around the same time.
A lot of stuff got delayed.
So that's why, so that's some of it cool. But I'm thinking that's supposed to be like part 2 of that situation. Is kind of like the movie where they
got me not caring.
Please.
Man. Well, okay. I'm still excited about the Marvels. Just because I like them. I just like them. But there were just so many weird takes that Secret Invasion took. I know for that one episode when Talos did die and they used that scene 3 times.
I thought I was so upset that they killed him. I was like, this.
I was upset, but I noticed
this is what we doing?
Yeah, no. Did you saw how they used they used they used Sam Jack's like facial expression where he's like 3 times. Literally 3. The strike I feel did not help this show.
One of their weakest.
It started all right too. Like Secret Invasion is supposed to be one of the wildest story plots because people that you thought had been it had been decades since they had been snatched. Decades. Like they were having babies, getting married, like they were living lives.
That's what they should have focused more on. Instead of waiting till the last episode to show Rhodey, now everybody's like, so how long y'all had him? And people were straddling the fence on how they felt about that. I felt like it was good because that's the gut punch of maybe he doesn't know Tony's dead. If they had him that long. And some people were mad about that, but I'm like, that's good writing because then that also sets up his show later, which is Armored Wars, because now I have to avenge my friend that died while I wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that would be good. But so many people are upset, that's so disrespectful.
They say that he was gone that long.
I feel like it's garbage for them to show him and be like, he had on a hospital gown, and for them to make it a mission to be like, how long have you been here? If he hadn't been there a long time, because the only times they would have had to get him would have been at the end of Civil War, or at the end of Infinity War. I feel like those probably would have been the only 2 opportunities, because you got the cleanup of Infinity War when everybody was disappearing and stuff. Everybody's all jumbled up, or nobody's paying attention with the Civil War thing going on, so they snatched him while he was maybe getting surgery or something. And then it makes sense to get him because of how close he got up to the president. So he literally had the president's ear. So it makes sense. But that, to me, it would be good punching for that man to wake up and not know Tony's dead. I just feel like, to me, that would be good to be like, what? You don't know half these people. You don't know Natasha dead. You don't know Tony dead. You don't know Endgame happened and half everybody got blitzed.
They thought that first episode
this should not have
Martin
been a
Short.
one season. They should have done multiple seasons.
Marvel leaves you hanging to get a grasp on how the people, the fans react, and then they kind of write further based on it instead of them having a definitive plan. Sometimes going further,
it's basically written for them, and I can't keep giving them excuses.
The comic
because,
books.
yeah,
Hello?
like
it is.
like with these shows that were like WandaVision did. I feel like with WandaVision, I had some about the ending, but I did like it throughout. This also means the scroll was talking to Sam
Yep.
Wilson during Falcon. See,
Yep.
do you see what I'm saying? Like you had years, 10 years.
Yes.
Because this happened well before any of the Avengers stuff. So you had 10 years of content to mess around with, to make us second guess like we're in a secret
And that's how it
invasion.
was supposed to make you
Right.
feel. Like you couldn't trust nobody. Like, bitch, we coming and pulling everybody's DNA. We shooting everybody's fingers off. Look, we gonna see. We gonna see who
That
chasing
part.
today.
Yeah.
Wild.
You know what
That-
else pissed me off? The scene where like they had all the bodies in the room, but they didn't show like who it was that they had like
Right.
had all that time. That would have been even more cinematic.
They coulda
had you
hinted.
saw,
Would
like
have
a
been
couple
good.
more faces that like
That could have been an Easter egg. That could have been so many things, man. And it's like they tried to get the scale of it down. Sure. Like I loved the intro. It felt very AI and it like generated, but still I liked the insidiousness of it where like, oh, anybody could be X. Anybody could be Y.
I feel like it probably would have been better executed had they went into the whole multiverse project, like this whole little 3 what do you call it? I guess like I
I'm
can't say
confused.
arcs. What say it
Saga?
again?
Saga?
Yeah, like the little saga of the multiverse. 'cause,
Yeah.
like they should have implemented the whole thing with the aliens and stuff like with that too. Like,
Yes.
so you got it because the people that don't understand the time travel thing, that's like it's going like here,
Yeah.
then you got something else to focus on. And I feel like that's where they lose the people because the whole thing with Kang is time travel. Most people don't understand time. Well, nobody really understands time travel. But you know, like a lot of the things that they do are like going over people's head. People watch and not to change the study, but you know, people watch Ant-Man was like, oh, Kang got dusted by some ants, so he whacked. But like, no, people don't understand that like what Thanos did was like a box of rocks in this universe where you know what I'm saying, like where now the universe and the timelines are splitting. Like y'all don't understand the gravity of what's to come if we actually get there, if they do it right.
If they do it.
In that comics, you guys were trying to say something, Lloyd and Natasha.
Yeah. So what you said earlier, like it came a little too late, right? If this had been something introduced sooner, then it wouldn't have to contend with the multiverse saga, right? Because once you start talking about multiverse stuff like that, everything can get wrapped up in a bow and say, oh, whatever, all multiverse stuff, we're gonna change everything. But if you go back to like start showcasing the whole thing with the scrolls, I think it was confirmed that he's been gone since Civil War.
Aha.
I think.
Oh, good. That's what I want.
Infinity War.
It wasn't Infinity War, regardless.
It was Infinity War, yeah.
I would prefer Civil, but
I would prefer Civil too.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, are you talking about Nick or
he's talking
Rhodey.
about Rhodey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So probably Civil War.
So if that is the case, and you start introducing that idea, then right, so you can, you know, let's say in Civil War, it's like, oh man, he's injured, and in credit scene, you saw him with his stuff hooked up, and the next time we see him, he's not. Small thing, right? But then you leave those Easter eggs and those breadcrumbs, and then maybe somebody else, right? It'd be like, well, you know, who else was disappeared? And Hulk's off world, right? The Skrulls could be like, oh no, Banner's not. No, he's not. Right?
It's not off
you
world.
know, and slip him in like, oh, where'd he go? Oh, the ship crashed. He's still here. And you're like, wait, you see Thor's like, he's off world. Wait a second. Whatever, just an in-between thing. You just start inserting these smaller things.
It's like the fan anticipation stuff, which I could kind of see them being burnt out because then you have those ignorant people who like send death threats to the writers and stuff you know, like I can see you being tired, like, you know what, F the fans, because y'all don't care nothing about me when I'm writing this script. So I can kind of see it, but I do miss that whole excitement of what's coming next because it's like I'm here for it, but it's not that anticipation level of before. And I also try to get people to see too, like if you were watching Marvel when it first came out, nobody was checking for Iron Man 1, nobody was checking for Thor 1, nobody was checking for them like that until after the Avengers movie when they all came together. Then you have people like, okay, so we getting somewhere. So I'm like, you have to give these new characters a chance to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then,
well, I'm excited for the Marvels.
I agree that they have, like, we need to give them a chance to get somewhere. Unfortunately, if they are going to be continued to be shelled out on these Disney Plus, you know, shows, they're not going to get the chance to be great. The thing that you have mentioned, that which is a big problem with these shows, is like the whole threading, right? When you think of the first saga, it was a long braid, a very long braid, right? Of it, like origin stories, and then movies, then that all led up to the Thanos situation, right? Which is where everybody was on the hype of. And then you have these shows where it's like, okay, everything's one season, these mini series, okay, where it's fast, quick, the pacing is shoddy. It's like they take everything, squish it into one. Like if they took their time with Secret Invasion and had made it like 2 or 3 series or 3 seasons, excuse me, and taken their time to really braid it in, or pull to Last of Us. Last of Us season 1 could be like, they could end there and that could be the end, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to do these one series, have them be an hour long, have them be like written with depth and progression and make sense. I just feel like Disney has been putting this hold on their creations, because this also happens to Star Wars productions that they have on the platform, where it's just like the restraints they put like harbor or inhibit the creativity and the
it's
process.
definitely Disney, because they have that problem on their platform with other shows, so it's definitely them. But I don't know. I just feel like if you're gonna spend as much money on a show that you do like a movie, it definitely needs to like hit.
I think every one of these shows could have been like Loki.
Yes.
Loki was very well received. Loki was very well thought out, and everybody loved it. Everybody categorically loves that show because it dealt with the time shenanigans. It dealt with like, you know, addressing several Lokis and all of that, and even like dealing with his own death by Thanos' hand. So interleaving the movies, revisiting characters that we love, revisiting things that have happened, and introducing new characters that we still love, because and that was like their first time ever showing up. So I don't give them that excuse, because I really feel like they've already done the work. They've done the work for the past like 8 to 10 years to go and just dip back into it and do just an excellent job. So I do think it's just back to too many cooks in the kitchen. I think people who have worked on the previous projects need to come back and continue working on
Russo
these
brothers, call them back.
Baby,
That's what I'm saying. Like they get it. I believe, and I hear you. But people need to appreciate the work that's already been put out there, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Yeah.
I think a good formula. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're perfect.
I think a good formula that they probably need to do with the shows, if they're going to keep doing shows, is for like the new characters that people may not like be drawn to, or people may not just like want to go watch them. They need to start trickling in like something that makes you know what the tie-in is for later. Like if it's somebody like Ms. Marvel, you know, like people had an issue with her, of course, because of her culture. Then, you know, people like, who is this? You know, like I would have thought people would have.
You know what's funny? I liked
in.
the culture and the family. I didn't like anything else. I feel like the villain was stupid. I feel like the execution, her turnaround at the end of Miss Marvel was hella stupid. Oh, now you care? You was willing to kill yourself. Now it didn't make any sense.
They didn't have the right tie-ins for her.
Was what I learned about India, the things that her family. I loved the culture.
I would have thought a lot of people liked her more because they had the game with her in it, and then like a lot of people know her as like that super fan that ends up getting powers later. But if they're gonna be like characters that are gonna end up fighting the big bag later, like they either need to introduce like maybe somebody else, like the little boy from Falcon and Winter Soldier, who's gonna be like I forgot what. Like him. Introduce some other characters that are gonna fight with them at some point, or make it exciting to where, oh shit, like how they gonna link them up? You know, like
well, you see how like with Daredevil, and maybe this isn't a fair comparison, but like Daredevil they put so much work into his character, but he had never been a part of any like MCU movie,
right?
And they just dropped him in there, and everybody loved it. Like that's the kind of, we need to find something like a fraction of that, where it can be effectively done. So when they're referenced properly, it's done. Like it's like, I get it. Yes.
I have to get that time to work. Like the Daredevil thing is like, I guess because most people know him from Netflix.
That's why I said I can't really compare it. Yeah,
but it's a movie.
You said Daredevil, and I was thinking Deadpool this whole time. No, please. Daredevil. I am very upset about Daredevil. I feel like people were excited for him in She-Hulk,
And then I feel like in Spider-Man, what is it? No
Yeah,
Way Home.
Oh, yeah,
No
No
Way
Way Home.
Home. When he went to the theater, nobody cheered. Like when he like came on screen.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
didn't
that's for
understand.
mine. We went
No.
crazy, and mine.
but like
I think it was that
he was
audience.
in the
He was at
theater
the
and like
theater and
he
nobody.
was just like
Yeah.
ready to go after that because like nobody
That
said
was
like
that's
anything.
was that in
So I'm
LA?
like,
That's
oh,
LA.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
where
think
it was at,
online, and I think for the people where it mattered, I think when and where it mattered, it happened.
Mhm,
I know in
mhm.
that one audience, they're just ignorant. And I feel like if he's in the audience, you're not getting the people that are super fans. You're getting the people who are like, oh my God, I'm just like so happy to be here. I like the Marvel release.
But you know what?
And
That's half of Marvel fan base is just the people that pull up for the fights in the big movies. That's half of their fan base. That's why you get the Marvel's dead.
Oh no, she's talking about like a premiere event that like it's probably a lot of
yeah,
like
just the
them?
premiere
people,
event.
red carpet
Yeah,
people
I
who
think
just want to see
that
movies
one.
for social media.
And like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
but
I'm
I don't
just
know which
here.
one he went to. I just know he was just like,
Because when he came on the screen in the theater like where I
Man.
live, people were it was like what and I had no idea. I was like, oh my goodness, I
I
love
freaked
it.
out.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's amazing. Like with mentioning circling back because that She-Hulk, we should reconvene and have another
Please.
conversation about She-Hulk. That's a whole other conversation, right?
I'm gonna give you my warning now. I ultimately liked it. So
For
that was
She-Hulk,
my thing.
there were things I really liked, and then
There were some
I
things
didn't like. Yeah, there's things
definitely
I
some
did,
stuff
but I enjoyed her as a character and whatnot. It's just some things I didn't like.
What I did like about Secret Invasion, I did like that they set up kind of like it did have this mysterious vibe to it. And I see y'all were talking about the meat locker fight, which they had some scenes that
It had great action. It had great action,
Great
except
action.
for her two fists. When she went like this, I was like, "Stop! Please stop."
Let her do her
I
thing.
think
She
a
ain't
lot
never
of people
fought.
got mad about that because now they feel like, okay, well, every time we need somebody, we could just call her.
Right,
and I
'cause
just
she's the
feel
most
like
character.
there's a fix for that though, because she could literally now go off world and find them a planet. Bye. Like
I
y'all
didn't
are
like
never
the
gotta
whole
see her
planet
again.
thing. I was like, y'all,
Oh,
because it wasn't set up
I mean,
like that.
but Sam was like, I said Sam, child. Nick went lying when he said
We
like
didn't question
humans
it
don't
either.
even get along with each other, so we can't have no extras because like we ain't even, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't even deal with each other, and then
So
we got
this-
extras. They definitely need to find somewhere else to go.
With the execution of the show, right? I feel like there's two different things happening. There's the actor, Ben Kingsley, and what he was acting and portraying, and then there was the writing of the show. And I loved what Ben Kingsley did. Like the whole statement of, oh, you betrayed us, you didn't find us a place to live, so now we're gonna kill Earth. That whole narrative was like, it's kind of a dumb narrative. You know, y'all if y'all could have taken over people, y'all could have been trying to find your own place. But at the end, where he was like, he made it personal. Like, you made me kill people. You know what you did to me? And then for you to abandon, and so that's what at that moment I was like, that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
And it's wholly different from what I know of like the Skrull story, because I know it didn't start off with them like having a disadvantage. They were like, oh, here's another planet. Let's go and experiment.
I think everybody was trying to get rid of Skrulls because they could have just took over whatever whenever they wanted or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't a situation of like, oh my God, we need someplace to live. Oh, like it was like, oh wow, look, another planet to mess around with. And that's a completely different story. Yeah, like they were just like, oh, cool. They were literally an alien invasion. But in this, it's like they tried to make you more sympathetic to the Skrulls. And that's how it's always been. But if you're gonna do that, oh, what were you saying? Sorry.
To be fair, that was my only real issue with Captain Marvel. I was like, the Skrulls are good guys. How is Secret Invasion going to work when that happens? Because I know it's coming.
That part.
That was the only issue I have with Captain Marvel.
And that's what needed to happen. They needed to make them more. If they're gonna go down that route, they needed to be even more like
Dusty
they couldn't
than the
be
Kree because they were dusty too. They
were really
than
dusty.
them.
I don't like
dusty.
how they did the Kree, but like I think really they needed to make the Skrulls even more destitute than they were, because you understand a people divided. You understand people with different ideologies. So I understand
displaced,
displaced, all that. Like they really needed to push that a little more, or just more effectively, I feel, because I understand like one side being like, you know what, I mean, why we gotta go nowhere? We already here. Like, let's just take this over. Let's just we got this. But then another group being more empathetic, like, no, we're here. We don't have the tools to leave. Let's do this more peacefully. and maybe we can just ingrain ourselves. So
let's talk about that. So there's three things I want to mention. I want to find out what you guys think about Talos. When you talk about the peace thing, right? Talos's execution in this, how do y'all feel? Because I feel like he was disrespected. Samuel Jackson said, "You need to find yourself your own way," and kicked him out. And then when he needed him, was like, "Here, I'm back. I need help." I was like, "That's so disrespectful, bro."
So disrespectful.
I feel like they made him, for him having lost his wife and then his daughter dipping, they definitely made him soft as hell. But you know, I just feel like he should have had a little more anger in there somewhere.
He should have been more empowered, and he shouldn't have died. Like,
but I think
real.
the issue with Marvel is that they trying to make people more like. I feel like after Endgame, they try to like make you feel more like they trying to make it more like on our level for real. And most people are like over that. You know how you have those shows where it's like, I'm here for the drama, not the trauma. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you here for the mess, but when it get too real, people do. And I feel like when you think of all the things like how Falcon and Winter Soldier, Sam, he a superhero, but couldn't even get along. Like, you know, like I feel like they trying to hit people in the chest, and a lot of people just like, I'm good on that. I just show me some fights, and I feel like that's why they try to make them more human, because they had been on Earth so long, so it's like they kind of developed more human traits than humans did. You know, like I feel like they tried to do something like that, and it just
tried,
like, really,
and I saw
they did try.
Lloyd, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So two things. One of the things is like on episode 1, when they introduced the fact that was Talos' daughter and all that stuff, I was like, oh, he's done. Like his legacy,
right?
He's gonna see it. Over. Like you could see like, because again, he was a problem in Captain Marvel. He was a problem.
That part,
like,
a whole
Nick
problem.
Fury's boss. How dare Nick Fury talk mess about you right now? Did y'all forget? Like he was the guy, you know? But the other second thing, kind of going backwards a little bit, was he, after the blip, had people, you know, the other Skrulls that were on different planets scattered across the universe come to Earth. Why didn't they just use those same ships and technology that they had to go and find somewhere? So you tell me, out of all the different Skrulls that were scattered across the universe, nobody was on a planet that would be either more welcoming or you know, having them to be able to take over the part that they're in non-violently, right? Like you decide to come to Earth, and there's millions of you guys. Come on.
The scale didn't feel
y'all
right.
had the ability and the resources available to take matters into your own hand and roll out. Yet they didn't want to be on the Earth, or you know, I think it's much easier than nuking the whole planet and spying and diving in. Yeah, there was ships.
I got tired of that too, Blair girl, because they made Nick
because they never mentioned Captain Marvel. That's my thing.
And she did, and never came back.
That was so irritating. What was she doing?
Like, she the one that got the power.
What the heck? That was her job. Other planets.
I'm like, she the one that's supposed to be checking.
He went on Earth without powers.
Nah, for real. Like that is probably the biggest fumble of it all, because she left with them to find a new planet. What have y'all been doing?
Didn't look nothing but like 6 months. They couldn't have just been out there.
I felt like they've been out there for years, right? Like I was so.
But I'm like her looking. They couldn't have been looking for that long, because y'all ended up stuck here since like what, the 90s.
90s.
What is
like? You couldn't find nothing. You couldn't find nothing.
No, the Goldilocks zone is right there. Like, I don't understand.
But baby, where was that planet that Thanos was on by himself? That he was going through and got clapped on.
The Game of Thrones planet.
You mean to tell me like they couldn't go over there and
Captain Marvel was there? She could have been like, "Hey, yo, I found something."
Bro, that's all. Right. But that's where all them different writers come in, when you don't have people that like know what else got going on, and then it's like, I just want to make my own story. That pisses me off sometimes, so I won't lie, because they ruin DC for me. Like, when them people do that, like when you take it and it's like, I'm coming in after somebody else, but I'm gonna make this shit my own. No.
I can't stand that either. That's why I'm so irritated with this.
Like,
I'm irritated with this DC Marvel swap, like with these writers, and because I'm like, okay, it's about to be different, especially when they get so bold and they're like, we're about to reinvent the whole universe. We're bringing a new tone to
nobody asked you to do that. Just make me something that I can watch and I feel like paying for.
Can we just keep up and make something solid? I agree. I 1,000% agree with you, Lloyd. They did not submit their reasons well. Like, yeah, I get the whole Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., like, you know, dichotomy. We always do this peace versus war thing. But like, did they really need to be here? Like, what was really holding them back? You're not convincing me. And when you don't convince the audience, you end up with stuff like this. And I hope that I hate to see Marvel go down like this for real on the show side, because I think the shows can be great.
They
Yes.
could. That's the thing. Like they have like the parts of a recipe, and it's just like someone making soup, but putting like I don't know, some weird no macaroni and cheese, and then they put raisins in, it, and it's like what
Oh
what
my
are you
God,
doing?
girl!
What are you doing?
I almost jumped out this chair. She said,
That's the thing. It's like what are you doing? You had everything right,
It's
and then
watery
you had to go.
cheese.
It's for
I'm gonna
me.
just
You
make
know?
it different.
They
Like
feel like
no.
I'm
they mess up
very-
the recipe somehow. Like they just do too much, and all you got to
Mhm.
do is follow the
Follow the instructions. Lloyd, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say this reminds me of what we were talking about last time. Is I think the issue is the bittersweet issue is they're putting too much into the multiverse bag. Right now, I can give you a season of this, I give you a season of that, and it can go nowhere because all I have to do is say everything's reset from the multiverse, and I don't have to give you an origin story again. You're kind of familiar with them. This is what we're gonna do. It's cheap.
And I just feel like now it don't matter because they making it, like rumor has it that like after all of this is over, they're rebooting the MCU anyway. Yes. So it's like after the whole thing with and I see
they're killing it though. That's the thing. Like it is dying for me. I used to be at a place where it's like, okay, we have a new Marvel movie coming out where I was like, can't wait. Can I pre-order tickets? Like I was excited, looking forward to it. And it's like with each of these shows, it's dwindling. It's been dwindling. They're doing the same thing to Star Wars where it's dwindling and dwindling. I haven't seen Ahsoka yet. I am so scared. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen like their last couple of projects. I think the last thing I watched was The Mandalorian season 2. That was
I didn't watch
haven't watched anything
season 2.
after.
Oh wow!
But
I've only seen the.
I have to catch up.
I was not inspired.
I messed it
didn't
up.
finish season 1.
You messed what up?
I think I messed it up for Christine when we were talking about Ahsoka. And I was like, I think the rumor is that they're going to introduce multiverse stuff in the Ahsoka series. It was an article that was talking about it, and she was like, no.
For what?
Why?
What
Star Wars ever had?
They do
That's
too
for what?
much. You doing
over here
too
like
much.
for what?
Remember when Ezra saves Ahsoka in Rebels through the Force and all this stuff?
The timeline and on the path and all.
Oh no! See, I'm finna go.
Remember, he literally pulled her out. He literally pulled her out from a past event.
I'm sick of that shit.
Okay.
So,
all right. So back to Secret Invasions. Like I just
ultimately,
I
it's
feel
just
like
another.
for me, I'm simple when it comes to Marvel because I know some people are there just for the fight. Some people don't care about character development, whatever. And I feel like for me, it would have been just as simple as like, okay, Kang is supposed to be the major villain for this arc or whatever.
I've been waiting for that.
Why not? I know Jonathan Major may be doing other stuff or he has shit going on or whatever, but like you could have had him sliver in, even if he popped up in somebody's closet in the show. You'd have been like, "Bitch, what are you doing here?"
Well,
like
that's what Loki was,
but that's the only show.
But that's what it did. But see, my problem is they did so well. Like I know they can do it because when we saw Loki and we saw freaking the one above, what did they call him? The one above all, or the one he had
who remains. He was
the one who remains. Yo. That was sickening, even for somebody like me who hadn't seen like or read that part. Like I knew, I was like, it's coming.
The time travel thing is what hurts because watching Ant-Man.
But his thing is time, and I think that's important because when you watch the animated King, you see the kind of threat he poses.
He's ignorant. All of them. That's why I don't think people get. All of them are ignorant. He got like a million versions of himself, and they all ignorant. Not one nice guy. They all ignorant in some kind of way. And I feel like people missing it. Like it's not one Thanos and some stones. It's like a million Kangs. And I feel like Marvel hasn't done the justice of showing people the threat that's coming. And I feel like that's why people keep saying it's trash. Because at the end of Ant-Man, they're like, "Oh, he got bodied by ants, so we're not worried." No, he's a regular man that was taken out of his tech.
Let's talk about Ant-Man for a second.
He got sent back in time. Some people really think he's dead.
He's not. He's not. No, absolutely not.
Don't get that he's not dead.
They should have made it. I feel like in some cases the way because Ant-Man was already goofy, but
we knew this.
We knew that. Yeah, I think they could have made it a little. I love my boy. I love Ant-Man getting his his moment where he can go and protect the one brother who ain't never left. But I'll give Scott his kudos on being able to fight, that kind of threat because Scott's pretty powerful too. We got to give him his props. And I think the Easter eggs they had in that was cool, blah, blah, blah. I think the way that they kind of sent him away made it feel goofy. I do think that it should have been more visceral. There wasn't enough bite in that movie. That's why people were so disappointed with the fights. But absolutely no, he was not. Kang gets defeated all the time. Like in the show, like he's defeated, but he's never beaten. He's never beaten because he's coming back because there's so many of them. Like there's a whole society of Kangs, as you already know.
Oh,
and
like Rex.
Yeah, you
like,
haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't see Ant-Man?
No, I didn't. I was gonna try to watch it, but when I finished Secret Invasion, I was like, I think I'm good for now.
I will say what I think. I think they didn't do that. So, Christine, do you mind us spoiling it?
No, go ahead.
So there was. I think
you might give me reason to watch it. So go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's important to talk about that last scene where they show how many Kangs there are. They show like a stadium shot.
Yes,
and they talk. Yeah. They talk about some Kangs that you know prominently. Like there are some main Kangs, but then also they show like all the Kangs that make up the Kang.
It just sounds like you're saying king with an accent when you said main Kang.
But I promise you that came out before we was Kangs. I'm sorry, it did. It came out before that.
I forgot the name of the place that they're in.
I don't know. I don't know the name, but
that they have to fight or whatever. Like
it was a cool shot, but I feel like they could have did even that better because when it felt goofy, kind of seeing some of them Kangs just like yelling. I'm like, why are we yelling? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, why are we? Well, but it was kind of goofy how they introduced the threat of Kang when really they could have done that. They did that even more effectively in Loki. The moment that he was like, "Oh yeah, there are so many of me." And not everybody's as nice as I am. Yeah. That's terrifying.
And that statue shot at the end of Loki, you're just like, it's already changed. There's nothing.
I don't know what was the thought process. I mean, it's like I get why they put him in Ant-Man, but I also get that I don't know what other project they could have put him in, I guess, to like show off what he has going on. That would have been coming out around the same time. I do get why they use Ant-Man though,
because it's another universe. And he got trapped in his machinations dealing with how he and
Doctor Strange could have been one.
Definitely.
All the
definitely, and it would have been better. It would have been better than that lame ending that Doctor Strange had.
I just feel like they didn't do
that movie
Multiverse of Madness because Wanda and Kang together is too much star power in one movie.
Well, no.
So you would either have to see like a sliver of Kang somewhere.
That's all we needed.
Take Wanda out.
But the thing Marvel would have
did, Mr. Fantastic in there. When he coming back? First of all, when is he coming back?
Supposedly 2025,
right?
Would
have put the goofy Kang in Ant-Man. They still would have showed him in. They would have showed him in Multiverse of Madness and made him bomb as fuck, and then we still would have got Ant-Man version. So it still would have been like
I think Ant-Man could be improved, but see that's my problem. They had already done the right thing with Loki,
right?
I really think that.
I think where they messed up.
It could have been the statue of Doctor Strange. You have a statue of Kang, and it's shifting. And you're like, wait, who is that guy? Right, Doctor Strange acts that, but then
it's the little things that they could do that would make it better, and they don't. I think they miss out on it.
It could have been low lift. It could have been very effective. They already know people have been dissecting Marvel for about a decade now.
So many. So hold on. Because since you brought up people dissecting, I want to back to Secret Invasions. How did y'all feel about that restaurant scene between Cheadle and Nick Fury? Okay,
I hated it.
I'm sorry. Girl, I hated it too.
I mean, to me, that gave away that he was a Skrull. To be honest, like it was like at that moment we already.
No, I get that
a lot
he was
of
a
people still
Skrull.
was fighting that he wouldn't. I'm like, how y'all not?
I'm glad to find out he was a Skrull after that because I was just like, what the hell is this? And then when I looked and people were like, oh, he might be a Skrull. I'm like, he better be because if he ain't,
it didn't make sense for his character development for him not to be because.
I did not like
in Civil War, it's like he kind of saw the error of his ways, so it would make sense for him to be that version of Brody in that show if he wasn't a Skrull. But people
did all that.
Yeah, I'm like,
they did all that for that one little thing where he said nobody calls me Nick, and then they did all that so that everybody could say that, and it's like, oh, there's your hint, there's the big reveal.
Because people don't get the subtle ones. You got to be blatant with it. You got to be. It gotta be like.
There's times where it's like. You can drop a subtle failure and then hype it up in the character's view, where you have Nick kind of turn, and you're like, and then you address it later when he finally shoots Rhodey and he's like, nobody calls me Nick. Like that's you up.
Great.
What I'm trying to figure out that I feel like they missed for me because I know how my brain works. I know everybody that they had captive got cancer because there's no way that as soon as Nick walked in and he coughing from this radiation. That them people been down in there for years and nobody has cancer. Like
Right.
that should have been the first thing they were told when they opened the capsule. I'm sorry, you have cancer.
Right.
That
I
part-
did think
Let me
like,
go
did
ahead
they
and like.
have?
They're in
How
the
did they?
containment
Would they be
unit.
protected?
But you got to remember
That's
that them things
facts.
they were in, some people were just out with the little probes on their head. They weren't like
Yes,
in
they
like
were.
a full blown. So I'm like, you got to have cancer. There's no way. Like, there's no way you don't have
Yes.
cancer.
Okay. Hold on. Yanni has brought up something that I think we definitely need to talk on because I'm confused. Okay,
Well, what happened?
confused. All right. Nick's wife. Now, what was that? Like, I'm confused on like, okay, I'm confused on the message they're trying to tell between the relationship between him and his wife, because it was like at the end he's like, oh, I'm who I am because the two strong women in my life, my mom and my wife. But your wife confessed about how you was never there and how she was constantly essentially in a relationship where she loved you more than you loved her. And then at the end when you're like, she was like, oh, can you say or something like that? And he's like, well, I gotta go. It's like, do you
But I
love
mean,
her? Do you want to be with
but
her?
he may love her his way. Everybody's love ain't built the same. You know that. You married. Everybody's love ain't
Like
built the
that's
same.
I
And then
get
her
that.
as
I
his
get
partner,
that.
you knew who you married and you stayed.
And she said
So I
she
just feel
For
like
me,
she ain't
I
leave.
think
She stayed at that same house, waiting on him
she
to get through with his
didn't.
responsibilities
She did not.
She
and come
did.
back. Some people are okay, just like you had them celebrities that be together like 30 years but never get married. It's that
Yeah,
same
we talked.
situation.
This takes me back to DreamCon when we had
I'm
this
like,
conversation at the
some
podcast
people just
panel at DreamCon. Yeah,
I feel like he loved his job the most, but they came like second. But if they allowed that, you know what I'm saying? It's like they accepted that. People accept the love they feel they deserve. So she was like, oh, this is probably the most I'll get as a scroll. She wasn't in love with like another scroll, probably. Like they wasn't hitting like that for her. So
Well,
she was like,
she straight up said when she took that body that she was going to fulfill her wish of I want to be loved.
that's true too. Yeah, like the lady whose body she took.
I think that the only question that remains is wow, does she love him? You know, like was she doing it out of duty or was she doing it, because she really wanted to take that what that woman said and she just believes that she's in love.
I think she eventually fell in love. I think it was one of those situations where it was her mission and she eventually fell in love.
I think she
wanted him
did
to
that.
love her. For
I
who
think she
was.
cared because I think they even had a part where she kind of asked like if you love her with this face or this face, right?
Yeah,
I think she did care because she kind of
and that's what I mean. Like if he really loved you, like you ain't been walking around looking like yourself this whole time. Like it's got to be something that's on her mind. It's got to be something that's always on their mind in their relationship. Like
I feel
he
like
knows.
it was just like blatant compromise because everybody has that thing in their relationship that they compromise for. To be honest, most times. So I just feel like they just blatantly made it like it was her face. I just feel like that's what they did.
I do feel though, like as a show though, we're handling a lot of things, right? You've got the I used to be the Kang, gonna throw that out there, but now I'm not the Kang no more. Everybody's talking about I'm old and decrepit and I can't do this
so much.
Yeah, like you're old, Nick. You're not the same. Nick.
Everybody was calling that man
everybody.
He was proud of their ass too because he wasn't trying to be on Earth. He was just out of here.
That's true. But like they're handling that, right? Though he's old Nick, new Nick Fury, that whole versus. And then you have the situation of this Skrull global invasion, okay? And then you have this situation where you're trying to piece together a history that we were never seen or showed. We were never showed this history of him and the Skrulls. And apparently they might have been a secret society or group that he had been sending out on missions, doing stuff for him, collecting blood and DNA, which side note, I don't think it should be mixed in a vial. That's clear. And then you just have that. I don't think DNA works like that. But I mean, that, who am I to say,
You got to be spliced up.
Right, like different containers, different things, not all in one. And then if y'all collecting the blood, what y'all do? Purify it? Why is it clear? Why isn't it brown? I don't like,
it
whatever.
was their DNA though, right?
Yeah, but it's like, but DNA can't mix like that. You can't like just put it in a vial like that and mix it.
Science to make sense,
right? Make it make
not just
sense.
scroll magic.
But see, that's how they get y'all because they'll be like, "Well, y'all want this to make sense," but then if something else makes sense, y'all gonna be like, "Nah, this not superhero news." So
not me, y'all. Forget them people. Them people who are like, "Oh, it's not superhero-ness." No, I want a good story that makes sense. They're doing too much in this show.
My complaint is exactly that they should have stayed on the focus of how terrifying it is to have a true alien invasion. That's it. And the characters involved needed to reflect that. That's all they had to do.
Yes.
And they had all the time. They had 10 years of like random points that they could have picked.
Build the terror.
Build it, because it's
you
scary.
showed people I didn't care about, like that guy that was supposed to be a Fox News reporter. I didn't care about him. I don't know
Right.
about him. Who is he?
Who?
Nobody cared about these people. Remember those people, all the scrolls in the room that were
Oh no, I'm
building
being
up?
funny. I'm being funny.
Oh, who? You're right. Out of curiosity, why did any of the scrolls take on a black identity?
Some of them did.
So they said,
Oh,
why
you mean
did
the
that?
big
Why did
ones?
they?
Wondering why.
Oh, why
Right.
did they
Somebody
take on a
asked this
black
question
identity?
too. I mean,
Well, they took on a lot of different identities, though, right? It
it's
wasn't
just because, well, you want to ingrain yourself in society, and you can't expect aliens to understand human nuance and cultural differences. I think when they landed, they were just like, oh, there's a person. Boom.
Yeah,
And you got to take what you can get. Because think about
They
where
took
you
like
land.
everyone.
It was some black people though. Whoever asked that.
Yeah,
It
there
was
was
like-
black
Oh, no,
people,
no,
there was
no.
white
They were
people, there was
saying-
Middle
They were
Eastern
saying,
people.
why did they do? Why
Why
they choose?
did they
Oh.
do that? Not did they? They were like, why would you ever? You know, why would you
Oh,
ever be?
Some people do that. Well, I can't talk about my boy John Jones because that's another universe.
That's a whole nother thing.
situation,
Yeah,
but-
it is another. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're.
Yeah.
I think it's because he was inspired by that detective guy.
He-
But I'm gonna
he
move.
was-
I'm gonna move on.
The detective that he was inspired.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, they correlate with black people because I mean they oppressed. Don't nobody like them. They don't nobody want you here.
They might relate, and then also no one's looking
some
for
people
black
are like,
people.
well, I've been treated like this anyway. So exactly,
I saw
they
that
definitely
comment.
weren't looking for us to pull
That's
up
how
like
they got
that.
black characters into media. Was they take a character that's not human and they make them black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Icon. Yeah, but that was
Oh
made by black
please,
people. We leave that alone.
Mhm.
But
That's
yeah.
what they like to do. But it's like, but with the show, I like going back to a point that Chelsea made. I feel like they had like it could have been great. It could have been great, and I do agree that if they had focused solely on the invasion and just build up that fear, then it would have been
addressed in a
it could've-
movie or
yeah.
another show.
Yeah.
Like,
right now.
it
I
did
know,
not
like
have to end
Marvel's.
with
How
the
does
resolution?
how does this whole thing, this war on scrolls now that we've got this like like
Oh well, we
I
don't
didn't need
anymore.
the-
Apparently,
Nope.
just ended with Gravik.
We're just going to reset it. It's all good.
No,
It's
but
like
remember the president was
reset.
like, "Oh, I'm fighting
yeah.
all
Oh,
scrolls,
you meant
killing
the
all
president.
scrolls."
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because they had some people getting
Yeah.
clapped up too behind all that.
They did
Yeah,
have
the
to
what was it?
remember
The English prime minister. She got shot because they
Right.
thought she was a scroll, but she wasn't.
Oh, that was wild.
Typical
And see
day
that
in the
you
world.
see how they addressed that at the very end,
That
like
was
the
good.
consequences of people of scrolls. That's the stuff we should have been talking about. Like we could have built up a whole dynamic of them finding out about them earlier in
Okay.
the series. People could have been randomly getting shot. The world's freaking out. Like there's
Which
yeah,
is realistic. So exactly what would happen.
that's
I'll be
exactly
right
what
back, y'all.
happened.
Y'all excuse me for like 2 minutes.
Oh, you're all
Oh,
good.
well,
yeah.
we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up now. Since we
Okay.
no, it is, and we did get a little long, which has been great. Has been
This
wonderful.
was a great dive.
Yeah.
I mean, Armor Wars hasn't happened yet, so I would assume it would be the real roadie.
I have.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. By this point,
should be the real roadie.
if they dare go back to a time we didn't see while he's a scroll,
But that's why I said
swear-
like it would have been good had he not known that Tony was dead, because you had like those little hints of all the tech that came
Another
up
missed
missing
moment.
that was stolen. So like that would be a good reason for him to like want to take up that mantle. Like, oh, I wouldn't even hear when my friend died, so let me at least get his shit back. So like I don't know. I feel like that could have been like a good way to start that. But
Agent Ross has never been to Wakanda then, right? Like how long has he been gone?
it depends on when they got him though, because like that's what they didn't really say for him. He didn't seem like he was there as long as like Rhodey though, because he kind of woke up like, okay. I feel like they could have snatched him at the end of Wakanda
They
Forever
could have
just because he was
snatched
on
him
the run.
anytime.
Like a lot of
But
people smashed up during the blip because that's when most of them.
Yeah, you didn't know who had been. You didn't know who got snapped.
yeah,
Then
I feel like
if they got him, if they got Agent Ross after, yeah. Are you said after Wakanda Forever or before?
I think that's what she was saying.
I
I was like, did he ever meet
I
them?
said
Like,
blip.
how long has he been gone?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was trying to see
Yeah.
had he ever even been to Wakanda. I was
That would have
assuming
been-
maybe they would have gotten him.
They could have messed
like,
up so many
after
relationships.
Wakanda Forever because he was on the run. Like
So that would have been
Right.
Black Panther.
But now the
That would've
question
been
is, if it
great.
was after
First one.
in Wakanda Forever, who came and got him? Okoye. So now I got questions.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's good.
So
I feel like they ain't snatching her, bro. Like,
We
I
need
just-
confirmations. We need confirmations on how long these people been gone. Okay, that's what we need.
That
all right?
part. That part.
It's like it's so
Man.
much stuff that was good about it that wasn't explained, and it's like the stuff that was explained didn't need it to be. I feel like that's probably where, because like when you think about it, if Rhodey had really been gone since Civil War, that means even his best friend Tony didn't know that his dude got snatched. That makes it like, oh,
Died not
they
even
that
knowing.
cold with the transformation, so that means somebody can sneak in Wakanda.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like even with that,
Yes.
that would have
there's
made
gravity
you
there.
like, you know, then your
A
cheer bumps is like, well,
worldwide
bitch, hold
threat.
on. That's what I'm saying. Like that
Mhm.
kind of stuff should have been like played on more.
They
Yeah.
stop
Like
depowering
me
these
hearing
people.
that Nick is old for 30 times. Like I ain't need like
Sick
we
of
can
that.
see
We
it.
get
We
it.
can see
Sick of
it.
that.
We can
We
see
get it.
We
He
get
old.
it. All right.
Baby, he was tired of Earth before he got snapped. Like we already knew. Like he
Hello?
was tired. Like he was on
It's like
his
I'm
way
done
out.
with you people.
I kind of was. I was kind of taken aback that they killed Hill though. Like Maria, nobody like be bringing up that they
There
killed
was
Maria,
no-
but I was
Yeah.
like,
It's unbelievable to me.
because
Name
at
no-
first, you know, like when she gets shot, you like waiting on her to turn into a scroll. Like you know, we still waiting on like peekaboo. Like
Yeah.
Right. That would have been great
and
if
then
she
I'm
had
just like,
turned
she
into a
really
scroll.
dead. Like
That would have
okay.
been great if she had turned into a scroll, because it's like Gravik being like, you betrayed me and you out here lying and stuff.
Showing
like
your
just,
ass. That's what you said.
yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
That would have been great.
But-
Like that shot, and then like us learning at the moment, I'd be like, that would have added more of like, whoa,
Gravik having a
what?
scroll infiltrate Nick's closest circle just to scare him.
Because then we would have been like, well, how long Maria been like this? We would have been like, we would have been stressed even more. Like, what is going on? Where's the
Cannon
real
fodder
Maria?
just to psych you out mentally. That's
That
how
would've,
dangerous Secret
Could've been
Invasion
good.
could have been.
The first episode was crazy because I didn't think they was gonna just like go in there and blow up them people like that. When I seen them started blowing people out, I was like, Disney? I was like,
Right.
But you notice where they did it.
Oh, please.
All right, so that was Secret Invasion. That's our take on Secret Invasion. Let us know what you think down below, or catch us on social media. Let us know your thoughts. I want to say again, shout out to our panel of Marvel experts that we have here. Chelsea, Lloyd, and Natasha, and Tasha from Married to the Real. And then also shout out to Roy from YouNeek Studios from swinging through and sharing his story. Ianu comes out, our third volume comes out again tomorrow. Make sure you guys check that out. And I'm really excited. But before we close out, I want you guys to shout out anything you have going on. Tell the people where they could find you. Tasha, we'll start with you.
Okay, of course, I'm always at Married to the Real if you want to watch some reactions. We have a Patreon. I game on Twitch. I'm late for my stream chat. I'll be on Twitch almost every night. We have movie nights. We do True Crime Tuesdays, all kind of stuff like that. And of course, y'all can't see my full setup. But I do have my store stuff back there. There you go. You got lotions and body oils and stuff. All plant-based and good for your skin. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to take care of yourself. So there we are.
What does your shirt say? If you can't love me, what?
If you can't love me at my Toshinori, you don't deserve me at my All Might.
Oh, that's cute.
I can't be looking like Toshinori though, because like the
please, everybody have them days though.
I get you. I feel like that, but I can't look like that. I'm sorry. I need all the meat on my bones, all of them. That's beautiful. Now I like that shirt.
Lloyd and Natasha, where can the people find you? And let us know if you got anything you want to shout out.
Yeah. So 3 kids.
Listen, I understand.
But you can find us at midnightcomics.org or Midnight X Comics on everything except for Facebook and YouTube, where we're just Midnight Comics. Projects or anything that we have going on right now. I think the big thing right now is we are really starting to focus on our Patreon and the various shows and content that we have on there, like our community character creation night. What else?
What If Wednesday?
Or What If Wednesdays? Goodness gracious!
Script readings.
Yeah.
And early releases to all the podcast episodes. So.
Yes.
So
awesome.
Can't wait to check all that out.
Excited. And I did read, I don't remember the name of it right now, and I was trying to look around to see where in my room it may be. It might be on my on the bed, but I was reading the comic about the little girl and her father and the monsters that attack and everything, and I was like, oh, the one that you guys gave, I think you gave it to me at DreamCon, and it was a really, really good story. But I want to see what else happens. But I'm like, oh, the dad. Do you know?
Are you talking about Sweet Pea?
Sweet Pea, yes, Sweet Pea.
Okay. Yeah, that book is good.
Yeah, that first book, I was like, and then I was like, oh, and then I was like,
look at you.
Okay.
Like, ooh, and
Yeah.
Christine, did you have something to tell the peeps too?
Yes, but I do want to think about it a little bit more.
I will never put you on the
Christine
spot
needs
again.
homework. So the next
Oh.
time we have a Marvel panel, she can have seen Ant-Man 3 and give us her
Yeah.
perspective on
We
it.
You gotta
gotta do
watch
that too. We
it.
gotta do that. Yeah.
I gotta
we
rewatch
gotta do
Loki.
that.
We got a lot to do.
Yeah. We have a lot, and then Marvels and all
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff.
that's next month, right? When is it like 2 weeks from now? When does it come out?
I think you said November.
October 6th.
No, Loki comes out in October. The Marvels
October
comes out
6th.
in November.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we will, we'll talk. So Chelsea, tell the people where they can find you and shout out anything that you've got going on.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, I'm Chelsea Bites. I am getting back into streaming at least 3 times a week. So if you want a game, we're about it. We're also getting back into our PC builds. But ultimately, right now, my biggest gig is I am Twitch's Women's Guild lead, global as of the moment. And if you would like to learn more about our Unity guilds, we have a Black Guild, a Latin Guild, and a Women's Guild. You can check us out on their blog. Also, you'll see us at TwitchCon. So if you want to meet us in person and hear more, we got you. We're here to elevate women's voices, access, opportunities, and more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Me
So,
fangirling.
hey, if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, absolutely hit me up. I'd love to talk more. But thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me. Yeah.
Awesome.
You gotta do some audiobooks.
I also, because Tasha has inspired me on our True Crime Tuesday. So we're doing Tech Tuesdays, baby. And the audiobooks are coming soon.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes. With
With
a light, sultry vibe. No yelling. Not too much of that unless required. And yeah, all the stories coming out soon.
Can you imagine Chelsea reading smut? Like that would be hilarious.
How did you get there?
Because the way she changed her voice like that, it just made me think of the people that be doing those stories.
Hey, we can move this to another site, but I'm glad we have it's a wave we're on right now. You were in my head.
Books or books.
Only bites.
Yep. Oh God. You know what? So Tasha, you know my thing is we're plugging in for our watching USB ports. We're plugging in. That's my raid call. So beware.
Oh, okay.
That's so funny to me. Oh my God. I'm
funny.
sick. Thank y'all so much for joining. Thank you everybody who watched Party Chat podcast today. Y'all are amazing. Christine, I put you on the spot earlier, but is there anything you'd like to share with the piece before we head out?
Okay, I'll share it because if it changes, then yay. But if not, I don't want it to be like, okay, sorry guys. So really quick, I want to let you guys know that this will be the last month that we will be doing the weekly shows on the channel, the live weekly shows. A lot of for a moment, it's going to take some time. We are going to be transitioning into like regular reviews and like shorts and things like that in regards to like from a recorded standpoint. But I love the show and I hope to bring it back in the future when we can really put into it what, like really put into it what it deserves. So this month will be the last one. So next week will be our last show for some time. So
I hate to hear that.
I know
I
wish it could have been better.
You done introduced me to some nice people though. Like that's cool to be able to network like that. Cause I'm not one to go do it on my own. So, I've met a lot of people through you, so I appreciate that.
You're starting new business ideas. Just spawning them up.
Only bites.
Only bites. Jesus Christ. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. And thank you guys for the continued support. And we'll see what the future brings. But I'm really grateful for everyone that has been a part of the show and has been a guest or a host or a co-host. I really appreciate it. And our interns, shout out to our interns that have been really putting a lot into the show. And yeah, thank you guys so much. We will see you next week for our last show.
Shout out. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.